What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Strength Classroom, the podcast. I think this is episode 8 or 9. I can't remember. I labeled them on Spotify. You'll see it there. Today, very special guest. We have Bill from PG Coaching, someone who I've watched on YouTube before, someone in the last maybe like 4 years. We bounce ideas off each other on Instagram. We still one day have to get that training session in together. We're not that far apart from each other. We'll make it work one day. But what's up, Phil? How are you doing today?
Amazing, my man.
Good. So we'll just start off with a generic question. I ask every guest the same thing to start off. What is it about you? Like, who are you in terms of training? What's like maybe your mission statement? What's your style of training? How it's evolved over the years? Something like that. Just a brief introduction, or it could be not so brief, about what your training style is in a nutshell.
Right. So in a nutshell, we've got to rewind a little bit. So look back when I was like, take it even back even more than that in high school. So basically, long story short, I had a chess background when I was young. So I spent like a lot of my youth just like looking at squares, that 64 squares on a board, you know? And then eventually I transitioned to like basketball. I had that background.
Okay.
And then, so I grew up a very lanky kid, you know, really just skin and bones. And I think a lot of bodybuilders could relate to this with, they don't know what bodybuilding is, but on a subconscious level, they're like, man, like, I'm not really like a big guy, you know? And I felt that like through high school and stuff. But I didn't even know what bodybuilding was. I probably didn't even know like anything about it, you know? And then I discovered, you know, the gym, because, you know, you play basketball and like, you know, you go to YMCAs and stuff and you see like, there's all these guys lifting weights on the other side of the gym. Like while you're done your basketball game and you look to the side, you're like, okay, all these people are like moving like these round objects, you know, and they look jacked, you know, and they're older men and, you know, women in there too. And I just, you know, I got my feet wet with it. And over time, I'm like, man, there's actually a place you could go to like fill out your frame, you know? And I'm like, this is really cool. And then I went to college, and obviously in college there's like a weightlifting class and stuff like that. So it got my feet wet even more. And yeah, from there, like, I'm like, man, I started, you know, you get your newbie gains, whatever you want to call it, your first couple of years, you start filling out more. And then I told myself, I'm like, man, I'm feeling so good because obviously like it's very inspiring, like the amount of muscle you're going to put on in like your first like 2-3 years. So I'm like, man, let me start taking like some actual courses and let's start educating myself. And yeah, the rest is history, man. Eventually, what was it, 2015? I got on a blog. So I was really like an introverted guy, really into writing and stuff like that. And it was really like Alex Leonidas when I met him. This is a while back, that he's like, oh, I got a YouTube channel. I was actually watching his YouTube channel before, you know, and then coincidentally I bumped into him. And then he's like, man, like, let's start making YouTube videos together. Like, you just like come on the channel, you know, we'll just have some fun. And then I'm like, man, let me start my own channel. So it basically like, it's like a domino effect.
I hear it.
You know, kept taking more courses, kept hiring more coaches. Now I'm like, I just turned 31. So like I've been in it for a while. And like, it's literally a career now, you know? Like I'm putting all my eggs in one basket. Like there's no plan B.
That's good. That's good sometimes to do that, because then chances of success, I think, is a lot higher. But there's obviously still that chance for failure. But I feel like when you go all in, you're giving like 110%. More as like when you have the backup plan, you tend more often than not to rely on it. And when like a little bit of a hiccup gets in the way, it's like, oh, well, I could still do this instead. So it's good that you're going all in on that. But you and Alex used to do like these really long, in-depth videos about like one subject. They were like 45 minutes long. Like I remember there was one about like rear delts, overhead press, like things like that.
Yeah.
Right? Hey, those
Yeah,
were interesting to watch back in the day.
I always have to give like props where it's due, because he was really like an important part of like the early stages of the development, you know?
Of course.
But like on a bigger level, like I just saw what it was. In a nutshell, I saw what it was doing for me. And I'm like, man, I just want people to feel how I'm feeling, because I've been that person. Like it's something you can't even put into words, man. When you feel so good about yourself. And I know oftentimes the ones who say they feel the best are oftentimes the ones who feel the worst.
Of course, yeah.
But like, man, like that's why when you ask somebody, hey, how are you doing? You could tell when they're doing well, man. You could just tell.
Yeah.
And like, you know, you work with clients in person, you work with clients online, man. And I have so many people who tell me the same thing. I've had people, okay, check this out. This is how crazy it gets. Like, people, it's their first time, they've never stepped foot in the gym once. Okay. And then I get them and maybe they're like 3 sessions in, they're already getting the effects. So imagine someone who's been doing it for a long time, how good they're going to feel. They just every week they keep learning. Okay, this is how I set up better here. Okay, this food, I digest it better here. Okay, this lifestyle hack here. It's like, that's why I always say on IG, it's like, it's 1% better every day. You just keep getting better. As long as you don't quit, that's the limit, you know?
No, I agree with that for sure. Now, you talked about like 2015 and before with Alex, and how has your training style evolved from like, let's say then till now?
Well, if you go back to the history, I came up watching like the Mike Changs, the Scoobies, TMW.
By the way, Scooby is still around.
I haven't checked out his stuff, but
I
I'm not
just saw
surprised.
him on Instagram the other day.
I'm not even surprised. Yeah.
Like Scooby, when people talk about like OGs or whatever, like Scooby is the original fitness YouTube guy. He is. I swear I saw him when I was still in high school before I even like made an actual we're talking like 2007. He had to be one of the first big YouTube channels. Like I blows my mind that he's still around and he looks the same. He's probably like 70 now. He looks the same.
Wow. I came up watching a lot of those guys. Who else? Like Nick Wright.
Okay, yep.
POG, guys like that, you know. So basically, I based on the information I had available, that's where I was getting a lot of T Nation articles, you know, guys like Christian Thibodeau, you know. But like I used to print phone book sizes of like T Nation articles.
Oh shit.
And before bed, I would just be reading them and just highlighting them. And
yeah.
I remember once, man, I had a stack. It must have been as tall as like a kid. Swear to God, just T Nation articles. Huge. And I'm just like, yeah, well, I got what I needed to get out of them. So I'm just like, I don't really know what to do with them anymore. But yeah. So a lot of T Nation, a lot of bodybuilding.com. Like basically, to answer your original question, it was, what was I running? I was probably running like a bro split. Running a bro split. And it's funny because I'll tell you a funny story real quick. So basically, a couple, maybe like 2 months ago, there's a Fit Expo. And they came to Montreal. So it's like, they're trying to make it more of a yearly thing. So they never really done this before. It was big, man. They had Jay Cutler was there. Like there was a lot of like, a lot of strongmen were there, power lifters, arm wrestlers, calisthenics athletes, men's physique, like all the classes, bodybuilders. It's some big names there. And anyways, I'm there. Shout out to my boy Sharif. We went together, and I'm walking through this expo, and it's everywhere, every direction I'm looking. I'm like, man, there was once upon a time I was really into this phase. I had my calisthenics phases. I had the phase where I was training at that strongman gym. I had, you know, a coach that he had a big powerlifting background as far as like bodybuilding. But like as the time went on, I realized, man, it's like those phases were all essential because they exposed me to different, you know, forms of expression of fitness.
100%.
So I have zero regrets. Even like the ego lifting phases that I had, like it's all, that's where the whole experience things come about. You know, you can't just talk out of your ass. Like you got to know, okay, well, I've tried it for myself. And then, you know, when clients ask you about it, and same thing with supplements, same thing with like nutrition, like, you know, you have like some type of background you could like look back to for yourself and some of your clients. But I think it was I had a very relieving moment where I'm like, I don't care about a lot of this stuff anymore, man. I just want to be like healthy. I want to be jacked. I want to be strong. And I want to grow my brand, you know. But it's like I don't need to be. I'm not in any of these boxes, you know. Yeah. I think that's why my channel doesn't really get. I don't speak in absolutes, you know. I just look at everything like every lift is a tool in the toolbox. You know, I could name you like 50 split squat variations, you know, and I might only use a handful. But the thing is, I know when to use a contralateral, when to use an ipsilateral. I know when to elevate the front foot or the back foot. Like everything's just a tool. There's no, when I see exercise videos saying, oh, this is good, this is bad, it's like, it kind of it rubs me in the wrong way because I'm like, that's not the right thing, you know?
Yeah, 100%. Is there any exercise where you would say that has been maybe wrongfully demonized or just commonly demonized?
Commonly demonized.
Yeah. And well, I'll elaborate, like, and you don't think it should be, like, because you said they're all just tools.
They're all tools, but at the same time, like, the thing is, I'm not doing group classes. You know, I might do like a 2-on-1 every now and then, but for the most part, I just look at who's in front of me.
Okay.
You know, and my questionnaires are very in depth. If I'm working with somebody in person, then obviously it could be more, it'll give me even more context if the person is literally in front of me. But ultimately speaking, I just look at who's in front of me and I look at the right tool for the right job. So, but to answer, and I know that sounds like that's not going to get the
No,
clicks,
100%.
but it's the reality, it's based, there's so many factors, it's based on their injury history, it's based on their goals, based on the access of equipment that they have, of based on their movement options. So what was the original question?
No, like if an exercise has been demonized, like unfairly. And let me put a little bit more context. When I say
Got
demonized,
you.
I
Yeah.
mean like bad for everyone.
Okay, I got you.
Like
Okay.
just, it's a bad exercise, period.
Okay, I could give you tons, man. I could give you one for each muscle, man. Because that's the thing. Like if you followed like Chris Duffin back in the day, like he had like the whole anti-fragile movement, and then
I forgot about that.
for that,
I
And I
forgot
was
about
taking
that.
a course, this coach, and it was an online course. It was shout out to Angus Bradley, the coach from Australia. I learned a lot of stuff in his biomechanics course, but he talks a lot about variability and movement options. And so basically, like a lot of people will say, like, for instance, what's that lift again, man? What's that lift where you're like completely rounded over?
Jefferson curl?
Jefferson curl. Yeah, they'll say that's the worst back exercise, and that if you do that, it'll hurt your back. Meanwhile, there's a coach out there who will actually maybe use that to fix your back pain.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So it's like I don't like but you're right. Some lifts are demonized, you know?
The way I look at it, and this is regardless of any lift. A lift is only going to be bad, and an exercise is only going to be bad and quite possibly injure you is if you're using too much load for the demands you're imposing. End of story. If you're curling, no, I don't think anyone would say that a preacher curl is inherently dangerous. I don't think anyone would say that. The only time you've ever seen people get injured with preacher curls, though, are when they're either doing too much of range of motion with a weight that range of motion their body is not prepared for. I've seen countless people rupture or tear their biceps on preacher curls, but they were using too much weight. End of story. I've seen people hurt their shoulders bench pressing. Once again, too much weight. They're not ready for it. So that's all it comes down to. If you have a beginner and you tell them to a behind the neck press with the same amount of weight they could press with the front, well, something bad is probably going to happen. So to say an exercise is just inherently dangerous is not necessarily true. It's all about how you're performing it, what if the person is physically ready for that exercise, what range of motion. Because I'm sure you remember back in the day, oh, squats are bad for your knees, they're bad for your knees. And if anyone came out with a video right now and said that seriously, they'd be laughed out off the internet.
Right. Well, okay, so load management, that's one piece of the puzzle. But it doesn't mean that because you lighten the weight that you automatically have access to that movement. So my classic
100% as
example of
well.
that would be like if you have a guy who's like, hey, I want to build bigger shoulders. Okay, cool. And he sees that everyone's doing standing presses online. And then they're like, and then you turn them to the side, like, okay, let's see that shoulder flexion, And like, yeah, I could get my arms overhead. That's how to get the arms overhead. Like
Yeah.
for a lot of people, especially Gen Pop, like you have to understand, like, I work with a lot of people who they work like a regular desk job or something. So if I put them at like a 90-degree bench, even a 75, man, they probably don't have access to that in most cases, man. But if I put the bench to like a 60-degree, maybe like I prop it up like here, like their center of mass is back. Like they have access in most cases. If they're really like restricted, then their overhead press might be like a 45-degree bench. So it's like, and obviously we could open up space. We could do prep drills to grant them more overhead mobility. You could do like some lat stretches or some pullovers and stuff like that, like some cable pullovers. There's some drills where you could like really improve it quickly, but yeah, that's one thing I will add. So like, if somebody just flat out just doesn't have the access to it, like we got to regress it a little bit,
Yeah.
or
What's your
modify. I don't like saying regressing. I like to say modify because
No, that's fair. That's fair because regressing makes it seem like it's inferior in a way.
yeah, it'd be a modified version.
Yeah. What's your opinion on the behind the neck press in general?
Yeah, so behind the neck, like I said, I don't demonize movements. It's if you have access, but like I said, a lot of people don't have good overhead mobility,
Yeah.
and you need a good amount of overhead mobility. You need some good external rotation to get back there. So there's a lot of boxes that need to be checked off. So like that could be but that could be corrected in the form of a prep work. So do the right drills before. Some people, even with prep work, they might not be able to get there on day one, but you could work to it for sure. Like you could start with that. If somebody has piss poor overhead mobility, you could do like a couple weeks, 60 degrees, like 75, 90 dumbbells. And then maybe over time, you could just get those elbows a bit more back.
Yeah,
You could work
I'd
to it.
say that's a good way to prep someone for not like prep in your way, like it's like a drill beforehand, but in terms of if you just make that slight correction of doing seated dumbbell presses with your elbows tucked, as opposed to just do them out to the side, that'll like load in that, I guess, plane of movement that directly carries over. And you don't have to worry about moving your head forward because the bar is not going to like slice your head. It's out to the side. But that's one movement I will say I've completely changed my mind on within like the last 6 months. Not because I thought it was dangerous or anything, but just because I thought, I'm like, what the hell does this offer that just a regular press won't? But I feel like it's helped the mobility in my shoulders a lot. And I've tried it both seated and standing. I haven't gone higher than 135. Seated, I'm still tinkering around with how to set up because as you've seen, like I train alone. So like unracking it from behind and then coming down, the J hooks are like kind of in the way. So I've kind of like unrack it from the front now and then come down with it. That's the next best thing I can think of. Or I might just start doing them straight off pins, but doing them standing, I like them standing just because it kind of limits the load a little bit. When it comes to behind the neck press though, like I want to show you this video and I'm going to show you it with no context, but it is titled Why You Need to Do Behind the Neck Presses. And zero context, I'm going to show you. I'm just going to let it go and then you tell me your thoughts at the end of it.
45 years of doing behind the neck shoulder press with weights most people can't bench press. The majority can't bench press. And still being healthy and still being able to tussle and still being able to do this. I get to tussle and wrestle my son and go out and play basketball and do sports and be active. It'd be active with my son. And for you guys, it'd be like your grandsons and being able to do that. Name it right now. Give me 20 Mike O'Hearns out there. Guys that have been in the pinnacle of the industry for health and fitness since the 80s that are still pushing the weights they did in the 80s. Still looks like they did physically in the 80s. My point is, you make all that money, you can't take it with you, so you give it to your kids. Well, I'm giving him something that's going to last for a lifetime for him because of the fact that he'll be like, I know what my genetics are, I know what I can do, and I know how long I can do this, so I'm going to choose a different lifestyle if he chooses. If not, 45.
Okay. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, okay, so
Wait, but before you say anything, what the fuck did that video have to do with behind the neck pressing? The first 15 seconds, yes, and then he just blabbered on about his son and genetics and
yeah,
like
he kind of lost me there, you know.
he lost me big time. Like
He lost me
I
there.
will say, like he's obviously a beast. People say natty, unnatty, whatever. Obviously, regardless of the case, it's hard to look and perform like he does for that many years, regardless if you're enhanced or not. But how this guy has not run for any type of public office or politician or whatever, because that was word salad out the ass. I have no clue what the point of that video was.
I was looking at the BTN press, right? But the thing is with him, with Michael Hearn, man, he has good full body awareness. He's been doing it for decades, you know. So of course, man, I've seen him behind the neck press like online, obviously. I think 3 plates, 4 plates, like he's super strong.
Like it was a joke. Like it's like,
yeah,
it looked like it was a good working weight for him.
Yeah, so he has good. If you have a good full body awareness, it's good. But it's like I'm just saying, it's like your first time doing it. Like it might be a good idea to to climb the ladder a bit, or you could do like in a Smith. At least a Smith will give you a Smith. The Smith gets a lot of hate, by the way. And like I always say, the Smith is just a barbell on train tracks. Like it's a good, like it's a good tool to have, and especially if it's your first time doing a movement, like nothing wrong with the Smith. Nothing wrong with like ingraining the pattern with the Smith, and then as you get more comfortable with it, you know, you do tempos, you do pauses, you know, then over time, you know, you could try it just in the barbell.
Well, you should know about this because you said you were on T Nation a lot. You ever see John Meadows do the scrape the rack press?
Of course, 100%.
So I've taken that like just approach, and basically, because clearly I don't have a Smith machine in my house, but whenever I want to kind of stabilize the weight a bit more and just focus on keeping something in a straight line, I will do that with anything. Like I've done it with JM presses where I'll start it at the bottom on pins and then scrape up so it's in a straight line. I've done it with drag curls. There's
Yeah.
certain things where I've just kind of like messed around with. I've even try to do like almost like a hack squat where I get my safety squat bar, I really lean onto the rack and then I go down. It's not like something I've done with like 4 or 5 plates or like you would on a machine, but it's just to show that it is possible if you don't want to constantly make all your stabilizers take the brunt of the movement. The reason I bring this up is because the behind the neck press is a perfect candidate for doing if you don't have a Smith machine, doing like a scrape the rack version to where you don't have to worry about any wonkiness or stability. Now, is it something I would do all the time? No, because then you're kind of defeating the purpose of what a behind the neck press does. But if you want to modify it and still get that extra like stimulation in your side delt, then I think it's perfect to do. But yeah, I came across that video when I was looking through a bunch of videos. I saw that video. I saw Xander Bromley made a video on how to just open up your mind to doing behind the neck presses and might make your shoulders better. So I went on this like semi deep dive on
Yeah.
like how the heck am I going to try doing behind the neck shoulder presses? Because I did realize like my shoulder mobility was kind of a tiny bit limited, and that's one thing doing like wrestling and jujitsu has kind of opened up my mind to, is being stronger and being mobile and having access to like different positions of my body that I feel like I should, not just being tight and restricted all the time. You even mentioned the Jefferson curl. That's one thing that has completely changed my mind as well, is just rounding of the back. Now, is rounding of the back good when you're going for a max squat or deadlift? Probably not. I'm talking about extreme rounding. Is it good to be strong and mobile and being able to flex and extend those muscles? Yes, then it is good. You don't want to be stiff as a board all the time. That's something I've quickly learned as well over the past like 2, 3, maybe 3 years. It's just, it's very beneficial. And have you ever seen, even when Arnold would do those seated rows on the cable, like he's
Yeah, of
rounding
course.
shit out of his back, and that lengthens your spinal erectors, lengthens your lats, all sorts of things. What's something you think that, let's say, a movement pattern or just a function of the body that maybe your clients are surprised that you tell them to do?
It's funny you mentioned Arnold because, and it's funny that under my laptop I got the Arnold book that I just showed you. But, and it's funny because I was also listening to a podcast yesterday. Shout out to John Warren. It's a guy I respect a lot. He was comparing a lot of the old school guys versus the new, and a lot of the old school guys train in a lot of different ranges of motion, like you just said with the Arnold, right? Like a lot of like these new, I don't know if you want to call them science-based lifters, whatever the case is. A lot of people they'll be very stationary on that seated cable row, and they don't move the torso. A lot of the old school guys, they train with a lot. Yeah, they train with a lot of extension, but they train with a lot of flexion too. Like a lot of, it wasn't uncommon to see like rounded back barbell rolls before, like standing on a deficit, you know? So it's kind of like a Jefferson curl, but like you're doing a barbell roll with it.
Yeah.
And like really rounding, like, bro, I was watching a video of Robbie Robinson. I gotta send you this clip, man. It's like, it's
I
a
have no
backward.
clue who that is.
Robbie Robinson, he was like Arnold's like not right hand man, but it was one of his training partners.
Somebody trained with. Okay.
Yeah, and they had like some hardcore sessions together. But I saw one of his back workouts, man. These guys used to round like crazy on the cable rolls. Crazy. They weren't holding back at all, man.
But even
You would never see that today.
even I think I saw a video, I believe he was with Mark Bell. Ed Cohen was just talking about barbell rows, and he was talking about how a lot of people like to keep like their torso like perfectly still and then just like row like this with their arms and not letting their back like round forward. And he said when you end up doing that, you kind of end up pulling with too much like brachialis in your biceps. And he said, I like to think of a row as like when you see those guys pulling the kayak, they're pulling the boat, you get way more back muscle involved when you let your shoulders round forward. He's like, I want full extension, full retraction. He goes, it looks like it's cheating, but it's actually more perfect form, if that makes any sense with poor English. but you're actually lengthening and extending the muscle much more than you would if you're just going like this. Because that's a reason why I never really did barbell rows when I was younger. Because I'm like, I'm just feeling this in the crooks of my elbows. Because I used to be one of those people that it was 45-degree. I used to treat it almost like how I would pulling the bar off the floor on a deadlift. And I would just be doing these little like, but I would really only feel it in, like he said, the brachialis and the bicep area. So there are some people that go too far with like cheating and body English and whatever, but I find barbell rows, you have a lot of room for, let's say, error, but I don't even want to call it error because I consider it right in a way. Because you used to do a lot of cheating rows in the past, and I would say that you kind of disagree with how you would do them, just because would you say that you maybe took the weight too high and cheated too much? That was your mistake?
Yeah, so this applies to everything when we're talking about experimenting. It's sometimes you have to go extremely deep just to see how far you have. You have to take it a bit too far sometimes just to see, okay, this is the middle ground. So
Yeah, I
as far
agree.
as back training, as far as bulking, as far as back training, as far as like so many different, how much I should arch on the press, like I've taken it to so many extremes, as for range of motion, for load, you name it. And what I will say about my updated thoughts about rows in 2025, okay, is if you're doing a chest supported row, I'm very big on really hugging the pad. I don't want my chest to come off the pad at all, man. That's something
Okay.
I'm big on. I'm doing a chest supported T-bar. I don't want my chest. I just hug the pad. I like to use it as counter force. So I'm not, when I'm pulling the weight hard, I'm not pulling away from the pad. I'm actually pulling myself into the pad the whole time on a chest supported row. It could also be a chest supported like a pull down. So I like to be in 2025. I'm a lot more
Wait,
strict.
chest supported pull down. How would you?
Okay, well, there's some maybe because you train at home. Like there's some bodybuilding gyms they have like a high row,
Oh,
and they'll have like a chest support here. High rows, more like a high row plate loaded,
yes.
But like
Sometimes it's
anytime
like
a
a hammer
back lift,
strength, almost, where it's like you're
yeah,
pulling from here, but then when you pull down, it would pull you forward. So that's why. Okay, I got
yeah.
it.
So you're doing a chest supported row. You're doing like a chest supported, like a lat high row, whatever you want to call it. If you're doing like a chest supported rear delt dumbbell fly, reverse pec deck, anything with a chest support for training your back, I'm a big advocate of gluing your chest to the pad. I don't
Okay.
even want it to come up. However, if we're doing freestanding barbell rows, I think that's the whole point of the movement, that you don't have the pad, so you could use a bit of sway. I don't see a point in using body English on a chest support. The whole point is to use the chest support.
Okay. What about, like, let's say your chest is glued here, or more so like your upper ribs. What about when you row, you like arch your back, but like you're still pressing into the pad? That's good.
You could still. That's the thing. So like, I don't know if you've seen Dr. Mike, for example. Have you seen the way he does his chest support rows?
Not off the top of my head.
Okay, well I don't like it. Basically, his whole chest comes off, and he turns it to like a back extension.
Let me know when you see.
Because he does it like with like a real full range of motion where his chest is coming off the pad, and he'll reach excessively hard. Check him on like a chest supported T-bar roll. Yeah, you could plug it in after the video. I don't know if you're gonna find it honestly, but you might have to be on like on his IG or something for that.
Yeah, maybe.
Anyways, all you need to know is his chest completely comes off the pad.
I really would have loved to have done a one-arm barbell row or Meadows row, but 25 reps, 50 reps in a row for 2 sets is a lot for lower back. So we use an incline dumbbell row.
No, it's
Real
not
smart.
here. Yeah, I'd
For a
have to
lot
do a
of
deeper dive. Speaking
You
of, I
could
just
post on the screen after.
yeah. He isn't it to me, just because I guess it's his wife or his manager, whatever. I think it's so crazy that John Meadows is not around anymore.
Well, yeah. Rest in peace to John Meadows.
Like, I think that's crazy.
Yeah,
Just
100%.
because I feel like sometimes I see him like post new content, so it's like, how is this dude dead? Like, they're putting up a video a week, and it looks like it's a video I've never seen before, but that's impossible. I'm like, because there's no way they had this much in the vault. But
No, they're recycling. They're probably recycling.
they're recycling, but like I think they're changing the thumbnails or doing something, but to make it look fresh. But they get like hundreds of thousands of views. It's pretty impressive. But there's one thing about him is he was really big on like stretching movements, I would say. Like things like even the Meadows row, if you just saw, like it stretches out. That's something I don't think people really did before he popularized it or whatever. I feel like there's some people that got really carried away with it. There's some people I see on Instagram still, they'll have like 4 or 5 plates and they're just like jumping up with it. Listen, I get it.
Yeah.
Get it. I really do. Just like when croc rows became super popular, I was on a forum called Iron Addicts and it had nothing to do with CT Fletcher. This was actually well before CT Fletcher was popular. And croc rows, think became really popular in like 2008. And he just called it, he just was doing high rep dumbbell rows. Someone else named it croc rows for him, which I was just interviewed by someone else. And I've always said that like any exercise with a name normally is not named by that person. It's normally named by someone else. Like the Romanian deadlift was named by someone at an Olympic gym. He saw someone doing like a partial deadlift, and the guy he saw happened to be Romanian. So he's like, oh, that's a Romanian deadlift. So that's just what I'm going to call it, as opposed to calling it like exactly what the movement is, like partial deadlift 2 inches from the floor, whatever. Do you remember Poundstone girls? Did you ever do those?
Of course, but I just want to I just want to touch real quick though on the comment I made on rows. So basically, chest supported row, I like to hug the pad, right? I just like
Yeah,
to
we
do that.
got off track
But
there.
freestanding rows though, I don't like meeting the bar halfway. So I think if you're gonna cheat on a freestanding row, I'll just let the torso rise a bit. You know what I'm saying?
So not like there's a lot of people that do the jerk and then kind of bring their body down.
I don't really like that.
Okay.
Personally, I prefer just you'll let the torso rise a bit. It's fine.
So just more upward of an angle type of thing.
If you want to cheat,
Yeah.
you know,
'Cause you know what?
that's where I am with a lot of back training now.
It's you're right, because when you meet the bar, you're really actually doing nothing, because it's not like you're contracting harder. You're just making the bar meet your chest. I guess it's a good way to maybe manage cheating, because it's like, hey, if I can't get the bar to meet my chest, I'm not rowing it up high enough anymore. But then, like we've talked about with snatch grip high pulls in the past, you can easily just be like, oh yeah, it's a low pull now or whatever. Like there's ways you can rationalize it in your head when really you're just using more weight and can't complete the same range of motion. That's literally all that's happening. But so just long story short, with the pad, you just like to take advantage of what use the pad gives you, as opposed to just because the pad, I think you're going to end up using less weight just because you can't cheat as much. It's pure back strength, pure pulling.
Yes, but like, let's say you're doing like I don't know if you ever do, like, because you train at home, but you're doing like a seated machine press. One of my favorite cues for that is I'm not pushing the weight forward. I'm pushing myself back
into the bench.
And that's a really good cue, like to get better chest activation. Also, same thing with back. Like I have some clients, I'm one of those trainers. I'm going to touch the upper back on a chest supported row for a client. I'm touching it so you can get better contractions, but I'm also touching it to anchor you so you don't rise above me.
Yeah.
The double-edged sword,
you know,
it's a double whammy, you know?
Yeah.
And every client has told me, yeah, when I intentionally drive my chest into the pad, I get way better contractions. They feel their upper back more, feel some rear delts. It's like night and day. But the thing is, it's a very subtle, some people may not even notice it. They might, like, there's a big difference between having your chest on the pad versus like a couple inches off, you know?
Yeah. There was, what I was saying before, I'm sure you've heard of Poundstone curls, right?
Yeah, 100%.
For a while, they were one of my favorite things to do. And I don't know if I'll be able to find it. For those of you listening that don't know, Poundstone curls are essentially you take an empty barbell and curl it 100 times without putting it down. They're really good. They're really good for your biceps, really good for your forearms. It helps with elbow tendonitis. So I remember Paul Carter used to always call them Poundstone curls, and then he did, if you could see here on the screen, he did it for 200 reps and called them Carter curls. Now this has to be the only, Carter curls actually sounds good. I'm a big fan of alliteration. It rolls right off the tongue, but one of the only examples I can think of someone that named an exercise after themselves. Normally, like I said, it's the other person, but then
Right.
where someone must have showed Derek Poundstone this video, and maybe he got offended. He did like, I'll never be able to find it because I can't remember what it was called, but he got like an axle bar and he did it for like 350 reps or something like that. And it was actually it was actually so funny because I'm like, you could tell he was like, no, motherfucker, this is my exercise. Like, no one's gonna be known for this other than me. But that's someone also who I don't want to say flash in the pan, but I remember he like got really popular on like the early ages of YouTube just because he was so strong. He's just this behemoth of a man. Came in second place in the world's strongest man, and now I swear I haven't heard about him in maybe 10, almost 15 years, it seems like.
Yeah, you don't know what's going on behind the scenes, you know?
Yeah, of course not.
But to touch up on that though, like that's like I took a little bit of a break from like my online presence on YouTube, you know, and I've been a bit disgusted, man, to be honest, with like the way things are in the fitness world now. Like people are so obsessed with these natty or not videos and like talking about genetics.
It's gossip. It's
My
turned
man,
into
like
gossip.
when we started in the fitness, came in on YouTube, no one was talking about genetics. It wasn't even a thing. Fatigue, barely even one was talking about it.
I
And
will
another
say
thing
people
too
used
is
to talk about overtraining a lot back then.
they did.
It used to be kind of really discussed, like, oh, you don't want to do this, you might overtrain. And then CT Fletcher came around that. So that's what he
Right.
that's what he kind of made his whole base around. Like, there's no such thing as overtraining. So that during that, whatever year that was, 2011, 2012. But you're right, no one was talking about genetics, no one was talking about natty or not, because all these fitness YouTubers and Instagram people, they've all turned into 16-year-old girls. That's the only thing to talk
Like,
is
okay,
gossip.
but I disagree, man. I understand about the overtraining thing, but like you just spoke about John Meadows. John Meadows would talk about 60 rep rear delt swings.
Yep.
Like you would never hear people talk about that anymore. Mike the Machine used to talk about like 100 plus rep neck curls.
He's
You never
back,
hear
eh?
about. I haven't
I
followed
just
him in
saw
a
him
while.
the other day. He wiped himself off YouTube, and I just saw him the other
Oh
day.
yeah,
He's been around for like 6 or 7 months.
shout out to him. You know,
Yeah.
but like I don't know, like it's just like people would do like those sets of like 20, 30 leg presses, hack squats, and I don't know, it's just nowadays, you know what it is? I'll tell you exactly what it is. It's that whenever you tell somebody that they have to do less range of motion, less volume, less, you know, less sets, less reps, whatever the case is, less food. You don't need 3, 4 meals a day.
They
Just
take it
one.
right away.
Yeah, I don't need to eat at all, you know? That's music to people's ears.
Yes.
It's music to people's ears and they swallow it, man, and they love it, man. And that's what makes better content. If you tell somebody, hey, look, we could show you how to make $1 million in 10 years, or we have the shortcut. We could show you how to make $1 million in 6 months. Like,
Yeah.
what do you think people are gonna click on? It's the same thing with YouTube. It's like we're just showing you the shortcut. And who doesn't like a shortcut? Yeah, like I'll take a shortcut too, but understand that like anything worth having, man, takes some time, you know?
Yep. So let's build off that. What's the biggest problem in online fitness content right now? Instagram, TikTok. First of all,
Okay.
TikTok's a problem in general. You don't even touch on TikTok. Instagram, YouTube, any content.
I'll be real with you, my man. I really believe, man, that a lot of people don't actually like lifting weights, bro. I think it's very trendy right now. I think people, if you really love the Iron Man, like, I don't know, man. I don't see it. I don't buy it. I think some people, man, like, come on, man. Like, you got guys hopping on gear like 15, 16, man. Does that sound like somebody who really loves the iron?
It's like they
Like,
want
it could
the
be,
end product without going through what you have to go through, essentially.
Yeah, and then those people, it's like, I don't know, man. That's just me.
No,
I
can't
feel like
remember.
people don't really like, because people are so obsessed with the shortcut. And you know what's the saddest thing, man? A lot of people, man, come up to me in person, or like, let's say this happened more in the past, where I would have consultations in the office or consultations online, and people like I'm expecting people to be like asking me certain specific questions, you know? I think one of the most popular question I get asked or have gotten asked was, what kind of protein powder should I buy, Phil? I'm like, you think that's it, huh? Doesn't have to do anything with your sleep, your stress levels, hard training, dialing in nutrition. No, it's the protein powder, eh? It's just ordering the thing off Amazon and just having something sit in your storage room for like
Yeah.
for a couple months. You know, you take it when you feel like it. People, that's how people look at it, man. And now gear, like I'd say like TRT is like the creatine of like TRT, like back in the day, like creatine in 2020, like 12 is basically what TRT is now, man.
Yo,
People are
TRT
like, oh, it's just TRT, you
TRT
know?
is such bullshit. Like, the people that say they're only taking TRT, to me, that's like the new natural.
Or it's
Like,
just SARM. It's just some K, you know? It's just
yeah, that's
this.
perfect. Like TRT, people are like, yeah, I'm taking 200 milligrams a week, and they got like fucking traps up to their ears, and it's like, no, you're not, because you're basically selling this. It's like, oh, I'm taking testosterone, but it's TRT. It's prescribed by a doctor. Who knows? Maybe they're taking 4 times the amount that they said they've taken. Because I have a friend, he had really low testosterone. He was like glued to a computer screen all day. His job stressed him out beyond belief. His testosterone levels were like 140. Okay, like he was at the bottom. He was tanked. And I think he said he was taking, what was it, 70 milligrams a week. He just looked like a more healthier person, let's say. He didn't look like he didn't look, number one, he didn't look like he was taking testosterone. He didn't look like he was lifting weights. And some of these guys are only taking 3 times the amount, and they have ears up to traps up to their ears. Like, are you kidding me? No. Like,
Yeah.
you're not fooling anyone. And I like how it's like all these guys that look like they're like bodybuilders or competitive bodybuilders, and they're like, I'm just only taking TRT. And that's like like I said, that's like the new natural. They're just trying to
Yeah.
reinforce that that's the only thing they're taking. Nothing else, only TRT. And I have nothing against TRT, but I have a problem when people use it as like this scapegoat, as it's like, oh no, it's fine. I'm old, I'm 35, I only take TRT now. Like, shut up.
Yeah.
Just shut up.
Like there's a lot of sad stuff going on in the world, but as far as the fitness world is concerned, there's nothing that saddens my heart more than seeing a 17-year-old, 17, he's a teen, take TRT to, doesn't even compete, doesn't even plan on competing. He just wants, just for purely just because he wants to feel more manly.
Yeah.
And it's like, my man, you've been lifting for 6 months. What's the point?
You see, now I will say, if you plan on competing in anything, the sad reality and just the harsh reality, you're going to have to take something. I don't care what professional athlete says they haven't taken anything, they're 100% natural. No, I'm sorry, you're not. You're not, and I don't judge you for it because I know everyone else is. So it has to
Right.
be it has to be an even playing field. Like, even there's some UFC fighters that say they haven't taken any. Well, it's like, I don't believe that either. Like, I know there's testing protocols, and I knew someone. He was natural in my first year of university, but I didn't run into him until maybe my last year of university, or second last. This guy looked like a fucking different person. He looked like a different person, completely, because he was unapologetic about it. He didn't lie about it. He said he would do powerlifting, but he wouldn't compete in tested federations. He would only compete in untested. But he said to me, and this one, it blew my mind, how powerful. I can't remember exactly what he was taking. It was more than just test. He said he made about 6 months of progress. Sorry, 1 year of progress in 6 weeks.
Yeah.
He put about 150 pounds on his deadlift in 6 weeks. I'm sorry, that's more than a year of progress.
Yeah. So,
But see, that's how you get hurt, when you shock your body to these things so quickly. And
yeah.
I don't think young guys, like when you're talking about 15, 16, 17, like I knew someone in high school that, I don't know what he took, if it was testosterone, DECA, Tren, whatever it was, he took in grade 12 and he blew up. And then I remember he took then something else, like maybe 4 or 5 years later, because he wanted to start competing. And then he like shredded up or whatever. But it's like, people look at that and it's like, that's not exactly the right path to follow. If you want it, like I said before, if you want to be a competitive athlete, you're almost going to have to. But if you're just some dude that wants to look slightly better or slightly stronger, you'll probably achieve that in 2, maybe 3 years. But a lot of people, with the biggest problem nowadays, is no one has patience for anything. Look at the type of videos that get popular. TikTok.
Here's the thing though. So a lot of these transformations will look more dramatic than they actually are, because some of them still have high-pitched voices. Like, they're still going through puberty. Like, you still got some of Mother Nature's gains it's just giving you. Just like that. And you're lifting, and then you hop on like TRT. So it's like, that's why the changes look even more dramatic than they actually are. But if you were to actually let Mother Nature do its thing, train for a couple years, at least get your newbie gains, then that's a different story.
Yeah.
Even that, I don't recommend it. I don't even recommend that at all either. But like, if you're not gonna, like, to me, the thing is, because that's the thing. Look, this is my whole logic about steroids, right? A lot of people have an idea of what they want to achieve. Let's just say for strength, You want to deadlift 600. That's the big number for you, you know? Okay. Or let's just say for size, somebody wants to have like 17-inch arms. Like you could achieve those naturally. And if you actually like it, why wouldn't you want to achieve it naturally?
Yeah.
And then also like as far as like natural competitions, I follow like guys in the UK, like shout out to Ryan Sapstead. I had him on a podcast. I watch guys like Adam Powell in the UK. Who else? You got guys like Keefe West. Like these are real naturals, man. Who have like a decade plus. And like we're starting to really see what could be achieved naturally. And it's insane, man. It's really crazy. It's really inspiring. I look at, man, I've been watching a bit of GVS lately, man. Like this guy has like 19-inch arms on the measuring tape. And yeah, he wasn't, I don't know how lean he was like with the measuring tape, but like he was not fat, man. Like he was a little fluffy, man. Just me seeing a guy could have 19-inch arms, man. Why the hell would I hop on gear or advise somebody else to hop on gear to get bigger arms if we clearly see it in front of us? Look at the Basement Bodybuilding. Shout out to him as well. I had a podcast with him. He explained how he got his 18-inch arms. Like, that's a big milestone, man, for a natural. And it wasn't a fluff fest either, man. He was like, he still had a decent, respectable body fat, you know? So it's like, imagine you hop on gear and you don't, and then you're on it for years and you still don't even hit those measurements. How much that would fuck your head?
Yeah.
That would mess up my head big time, man. Seeing that guy's like taking all this stuff, I'm taking all this stuff, whatever, and like a guy's still natural. He doesn't have to pin himself, nothing.
Well, I'm sure you know who Eric Konevsky is, right?
Eric Konevsky, yeah.
Big guy, he does like prank videos. He
Yeah.
talked about this in a video. He was just talking with his friend, and he said when he was younger, he wanted to be a wrestler. His favorite wrestler was Brock Lesnar. So he said, I want to do whatever it takes to look like Brock Lesnar. Someone told him Brock Lesnar took steroids. He took steroids. Like he said, that was his mindset. Like he wanted to be exactly like Brock Lesnar. He wanted to be in the same job field. Like he wanted to do whatever Brock Lesnar was. And he said, if that's what it took, I was willing to do that. And I feel like that is almost admirable in a sense that he understands the risks and what goes into that. But some of these dudes are like, oh yeah, I want bigger arms for when I go to the club. And it's like, bro, like look at all the bodybuilders that drop dead left and right. Like over the course of like my lifetime, the amount that I've seen die under 40 is insane. And I don't even pay attention that much. So it's like you also have to understand the risks. And Dave Tate talked about this years ago. I think it was my first understanding of what PEDs actually do. He said, they're your trump card. You can only take them once, and they will never have the same effects as before. The only way you could get the same effects is by taking a different compound or by taking much more of that same compound. But whatever you take the first time, it shouldn't be this super huge cycle because you're going to be so sensitive to it.
Right, so you get the minimum dose of effectiveness. But
yes,
based on the Brock Lesnar example, okay, and Brock's known for his traps.
Yeah,
okay. And this is why I really respect Alex. I call him AD, but Alpha Destiny, Alex Leonidas, however you go by. But he used to have a series back in the day, like how to look like Clock Hop, how to look like this. Remember that?
Yes,
and he was
I like
he had
that. Blog posts about it too.
Yes, this is like the OGs, they know. And obviously you're not going to look like have the same body, but he was saying like, I like how he attached numbers to it. He's like, look, you want traps like that? That's a roughly 500-pound shrug for reps. And like, who knows if that was how accurate it had to be to get that, but at least like shoot for something. You know?
But it was also telling people, like, sometimes people think that it's like the exercise or how they train. Like some people, I remember every 4 years when I was lifting in public gyms, people would start doing like, I would see more and more people start doing like Olympic lifts after seeing the Olympics. And it's like, dude, that's not why Olympic lifters look like they do. It's not the exercise. It's the exercises that they do to support the muscles that are involved in those lifts. Like a lot of people, if they were to see after their technique stuff, what Olympic lifters do, they're doing shrugs, they're doing high pulls, they're doing the lou raises, the shoulder raises, they're doing dips, they're doing pull-ups, they're doing push-ups, like handstand push-ups. Those are the things that are building the muscle. Like, am I saying the clean and jerks and the snatches do absolutely nothing? Absolutely not. But that's more of a technique, more of a coordination, more of a power exercise. It's all the other things they're doing along with genetics and PEDs like we talked about. But like what I like about what you said Alex is just doing, he's attaching a number to it. You want shrugs like this and you don't train like him, you have to be able to shrug 500 pounds pretty comfortably. So it's a good way of, I guess, almost humanizing someone that seems
Yeah. And let's just say hypothetically, when you do get those numbers, and then you're like, look, I'm still gonna hop on. Probably won't need to hop on as much. Like I used to go to this debonair. Okay, this is when I first saw Brock Lesnar.
You should
Like
go to what, sorry?
when I would go to the like the local like the corner store like when I was
Okay.
younger, and you're waiting in line and you see like a magazine, and I saw Brock Lesnar's traps. I'll never forget. I'm like,
With
man,
like
that
the most muscular pose, like
I'm like, I want
Yeah.
that, man.
Yeah.
I want that. And me, I'm like, man, like, what do I have to do to get that, man? And then like, I'm like, yeah, I gotta get my shrug up, And then over the years, you watch the Batman with the Bane movie there with Tom Hardy. Like, there's all these examples of traps. You're like, man, what do I have to do to get this?
Yeah.
And then eventually, I reached a point. I was barbell shrugging, cheat shrugging, like 700 pounds, man.
Yeah.
And I was weighing like 230, and I was taking it off the rack too. It wasn't even like just off the like. It wasn't even like a rack pull, like a hold. Like I would walk it in and walk it out, whatever. And like my traps were huge at that time, man. Like that's a good amount of weight to be shrugging to be getting like some traps. But it's like a lot of people won't even like. I remember. Shout out to Alex again. He made another video back in the day saying like the matrix of trap training. It's like, hey, you could take it from the strongman approach, the Olympic weightlifting approach, the bodybuilder approach. And like there's so many realms you could explore. The strongman approach with all the like the partial deadlifts they're doing and like all the carries. And the Olympic weightlifting approach with like the snatch grip high pulls from the hang. Bodybuilders with like a lot of squeezes on the shrugs. And like if you get stronger at all those, man, come on, you're not gonna have traps. But it's not. But it's just TRT. I'll just hop on gear and that's it. Like it's just that's the solution, huh? Like come on, what sounds more exciting? It's like I'm gonna get strong at all these realms, or I'm just gonna inject myself. And like touching upon that too, like I had this one mentor I was working with in 2023, okay, and I would book private calls with them, okay, and there was one call where I asked him a question about gear, and I was just curious, not for myself to hop on, but I was just curious for like, he was telling me a story basically, because I was going through a period where I'm like, man, everyone's fucking on, so it's like, what's like, how much are these guys really getting it from it? Like how many people are lying about it? I just wanted to know more like the insides of it, and this mentor, he said like, look, I can't tell you how many people hop on TRT, okay, and they come back to me a couple weeks later, say like 2 months, and they're like, that's it? What's going on? Like I thought I was gonna be Superman. And like oftentimes, man, like, and that's the thing, I follow some guys in the UK too who are assisted. That's how they say it in the UK, assisted. And like these guys
I've heard that before.
Yeah, like they don't hold back. Like those straight up say like their cycles and their stories. Like they don't. To them, it's not a big deal. They're a lot. I feel like in the UK, they're a lot more transparent about it. Where I feel like a lot of people. I don't want to put all the Americans in a box, but I feel like a lot of Americans, they don't like. You don't see a lot of Americans post their cycles and their stories. At least I don't. And I follow a lot of fitness accounts, but like a lot of guys in the UK are like, yeah, I'm taking tests. This is a much amount. I'm on. And they'll give all the bullet points. But yeah, so some people hop on and like it's not what you think of. Some people are not really the crazy responders,
You know what's also a really big cop out? And this post on Reddit, this thread, I should say, went into a super deep dive. The biggest cop out I always hear, and I can't remember who it was, he was talking about how he's natural. This guy was like 300 pounds of abs, fuck off. He's talking about how he was natural, and his excuse, I can't remember, he's from Cameroon or something like that. His excuse is like, go to Africa, you'll see a lot of guys like me. And someone in a Reddit thread one time said, do you know the UFC fighter Francis Ngannou? Regardless, really big guy, he's a heavyweight, and people showed his background. So before he was a UFC fighter, he used to work digging somewhere in Africa, okay? And they showed his physique, and it was a pretty good physique. Not like bodybuilding wise, but he looked muscular. He had like muscle definition and all that. And someone said, this is what he looked like before he started training. And someone said, honestly, like it's not unheard of for someone in his field in Africa to acquire steroids because it literally allows them to be better at their job and get paid more. He's like, if they have a really physical job, if they don't have to get beat down as much and they can recover quicker and they can move more rocks or whatever he was digging in that mine, it literally makes him a better employee to whoever's employing him. And he's like, and it's not hard to get steroids no matter where you are in the world. And that made me think, I'm like, that is actually true what he's saying. Because why do professional athletes take steroids? Why? To become better at their sport, to get paid more money. Why would it be any different in a job that's physically demanding? Have you ever heard anything along those lines? Because
Well,
that blew my mind when I read
well,
that.
I've never heard of it in the context of your job.
Yeah.
Like if someone does construction, you hop on gear. Like I've never,
Well,
never,
it'd
I
definitely
personally
be
never
less
heard of that.
common in South America. I mean, North America. It'd definitely be less common.
Yeah, I've never heard of that. But
Like no construction. Both my grandfathers were construction. I doubt either of them even considered fucking taking steroids to get better at their job. First of all, they were both drunk half the time when they were working anyway. Not because they
yeah,
were alcoholics, just that's what construction workers did back then. They would drink and build buildings. I don't know how anything got built back then. But
yeah. And to all the people watching too, like just like how I say every lift is a tool in the toolbox. Like I don't, and just like how I won't demonize the Jefferson curl. I don't demonize steroids either. I'm not the
Same.
steroid police. Like I think, and I made a good connection at the Fit Expo where like there's this one guy in my city and he's really like talking. Most of his content's about that, and like I plan on getting him on the podcast too. And what I respect is when people, especially like experts in the field, they don't say it's good, they don't say it's bad, they just say this is what it is. You know,
I agree with
that's
that.
what it is. And the thing is, unfortunately, a lot of people who hop on, especially when they're young, it's like you're shutting down a lot of your natural testosterone. Like you're going to be very reliant on it, and it's a big ego boost. You're going to feel really good. Like who's going to want? Like I don't think I've ever met anybody who really like came off completely. Like it's like they're always on it to a certain extent, even when they're off.
Well, even Louie Simmons said, he was on Joe Rogan's podcast. He said he went on steroids in 1979 and he's never come off.
Yeah.
But that's
It's like
someone he's not exactly wired like the rest of us.
there's so many rabbit holes we could go down for training and nutrition and lifestyle and like stress management and every layer you could think of. And like me, I'm trying to scrape for every penny under the couch, so I'm trying to get every word. That's why I always say on IG, like get 1% better every day. I'm still making gains, and like me personally, but I also like the journey too. So I think that's what it is too. Me, I just like it. So it's like, and I've had people in the past like tell me, bro, you're in the fitness world. Like, why would you not hop on gear? Like, what's this natty pride or something? And I'm like, man, it has nothing to do with it. And I'm not putting natty pride in my bio or anything. I'm just leading by example. And like, but I'm not telling people what to do, just because I'm natural. And that's the thing too. Back in the day, people had to like defend themselves for being on gear. Nowadays, it's almost like you have to defend yourself for not being on gear.
It's almost true. Yeah.
It's like it's almost like you have to make like a exposed video on yourself. Like, this is why I'm not taking anabolic steroids,
Yeah. Or why I chose to stay natural, or why I choose to stay natural.
It's crazy, man. Yeah. It's nuts.
So earlier we talked about like the biggest problem in YouTube fitness, and I'll just fitness content in general. And you were saying it's people that don't really like lifting weights. They just kind of like the facade, like what it shows.
Some people.
Some people. My friend said something perfect one time. He's like, online fitness and just fitness in general and looking at going to the gym as cool got ruined by people that typically would spend Friday, Saturday getting plastered at like any club or whatever. And it's when those people kind of got interested in fitness and made it this flashy, showy thing. And I thought to myself, I'm like, yeah, kind of. That's a decent comparison to make. That it's a certain personality type, not necessarily about drinking.
Right.
What were you about to say?
Yeah, 100% I agree, man. I think it's like, remember we talk about the extremes of things?
Yes.
and how like the medium is the message. I think as we get onto the extreme, as something becomes more mainstream, it's not that it spoils it, but it's like before bodybuilding was a bit more like underground, you know, powerlifting was more underground. It's like
Beautiful way to put it.
eventually, you understand now, and then eventually once it becomes more like poppy, you know, pop and it's like music, man. You look at rap music, look at in the 90s, like Mobb Deep and like all these like, and now it's like it's become so watered down because people could profit off it. You know,
Yeah.
you can monetize it. So now all they have to do is just take artists and like, okay, I'm gonna model myself after that. And there's nothing wrong with drawing inspiration, but people, I think that's what it is that now the barrier of entry to be a fitness influencer, like everybody who lifts weights, all you need is a camera, you go to a gym, and now you could be a fitness influencer. And like, there's enough room for a lot of fitness influencers. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, the internet's endless. So yeah.
Yeah, and there's a fitness influencer for everybody too. No matter how weird you are, like there's somebody out there for you. There's somebody who likes, like I could come out the woodworks right now and be like, look, I could leverage my chest, for example, not chest, still working on that, but like my chest playing skills.
Yep.
And be like, and kind of be like, oh, jacked chess, and like I would get a whole new community of chess players who just stay home and play on the computer all day.
Do that, please. I'll watch every video from.
I'm just saying. So it's just like, so it's like now I could tap into like the chess players, you know, or like lifters could tap into gamers, and so I think there's a lot of power to being an influencer because, like the word says, you have influence over people. And shout out to Nick Wright. He made a great video talking about how YouTube fitness changed over the years. It's the evolution of it, and he was saying when he would go to the fit expos, the guys with the biggest lines were in the magazines and the DVDs. Like that's how you got like those 2-3 hour lines. And then I think it was like 2015, 16 where it switched, where you weren't getting as many people in the lines. Well, you were getting still having big lines for those people, but you were having just as much of big lines for people who you never even knew existed.
Yeah.
It's like I never even knew this person was in my city and he has 1 million subs. And it's like it's not to say he's a nobody, but he just tapped into a certain community and he or she built their audience. Yeah. And I think that's pretty cool, to be honest. I think it's nice that like, okay, you still have a voice. So I'm not anti-influencer at all, man. I think it's cool. Especially if you're knowledgeable on top of that, like, and you're genuinely putting out good information, I'm all for it.
Yeah. See, to me also, like, I'm about to show 3 videos. 2 are fitness related, 1 is not. The worst people get the most attention. But that's a societal issue. That's not a, let's say, fitness issue. Like the first thing I can think of, and it probably goes way before that, is that girl that was on Dr. Phil, the Catch Me Outside. How about that? Like that's to me the first instance that I noticed in my life that it's like, you know, society has to stop making stupid people famous. Like even the Hawk Tua girl, I think that was last year. Like all of a sudden she has a podcast and a crypto coin. It's like, how does this work? Like she got paid $35,000 to appear at a club. Like this is ridiculous. Like this is ridiculous, just the way shit works. But like I honestly hate content like this so much.
Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Are you ready? Ready, set, go.
Like this is some end of the world stuff. Like where it's like if you showed someone from, I don't know, the pioneer days, these videos, they'd be like, what on earth happens in the future? Like this, I don't know if you've ever seen this guy before. Don't get me wrong. He's ridiculously strong. But the fact that I like scrape the bottom of the barrel for views and this guy has like sponsorships and 100,000 views, like this is ridiculous. First of all, I'm surprised you're not crying because I know how much you like salmon. And he just desecrated those 2 pieces of salmon.
Like,
it's just ridiculous. This is just ridiculous.
Okay, let me tell you my thoughts on this, right? And if you would have shown me that maybe a couple years ago, I would have gotten triggered. I would have been like, man, what's going on? And it's not to say I'm at peace with it either, but I like to look at the bigger picture. I like to look at like the deeper psychology behind it. It's like, why are those videos getting clicks? And I was shout out to my man Sharif. It's my boy too.
That's the other bald guy.
Yeah. Another one. He's funny, man. He's a funny guy. But he was telling me, he's like, man, maybe this whole social media thing, maybe it's like a lot of people, they're stressed from work. You know, they're on their break, they're working their job that they may not be crazy about. And maybe a lot of them are not trying to just be super educated. Maybe they just want to get a good laugh. Maybe they just want to watch that guy deadlift 6 plates with salmon under his feet, you know? Or maybe, or you understand what I'm saying? Like, and
Yeah.
sometimes we look at like the fitness world, but like there's other avenues too. You might look at like, I don't know, the tattoo community or like the barbering community. And like, there might be some memes about that too. You know, if you were to see that, like it happens in all communities. It happens in all the realms.
Yeah.
It's not just in fitness.
No,
So
no,
people are just trying to make
100%.
these jokey videos, and like it's another form of influence. It's just like I look at it more as like as comedy, you know,
I
comedy / entertainment. So people, you know, they have a stressed out day. They got their 15-minute break, whatever the case is, man. I'm like, let me just take my mind off it. Let me just watch the craziest thing. People want to see the craziest thing they've never seen before.
I
You know?
agree for sure.
Strength Unknown. You know Strength Unknown?
I
think
do. I
it's-
do.
Like people want to see, okay, another part of the world and just something, just show me something. You got 5 seconds. Show me something I've never seen before. And I think that's what people kind of are. Like, not everybody's like you and me who like, we really want to deep dive and really like watch a post and get a lot of takeaway points from it, you know?
Yeah. But see, that was my favorite era of YouTube, is when you were in a certain field and you kind of didn't deviate from that. Now it's like they don't do it anymore. But like at one point, so many fitness people had NFTs. So what the fuck is an NFT? Who gives a fuck? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's when they deviate too much. Like, and I'm not saying I'm the funniest person in the world, although I did headline a comedy show and I did light the roof on fire. But I won't say I'm the funniest person in the world. But it pains me when I see someone in a different field, whether it's business, fitness, or whatever, trying to be funny. And it's like, I think that's when you get that cringe feeling in your stomach. It's like, oh, this is bad. Like this is not good. There's some people that can be funny and there's some people that can't. Just insert the word funny with anything. And it's like when I find people deviate to a certain thing from fitness, that's when I know a YouTube channel is going downhill, when they start deviating and talking about other topics. For example, Nick Wright said, "Bye everyone, I'm leaving." And then 2 years later, I'm in crypto. You know, and now he's back to making fitness videos. So it's like, I understand people could do whatever they want with their channels, but it's like, to me, that's kind of when there's like a slight downhill and a slight disinterest, maybe on my end, and people that are like-minded like me, which I'm learning that that's the minority of people. Another thing is when you said the average person just lunch break or whatever. Do you know the comedian George Carlin?
Of course, yeah, 100%.
He
passed
said,
away, no?
huh?
Didn't he pass away? He
Oh, a
passed
long
away.
time ago. Yeah, a long time
Yeah,
ago.
yeah.
He said one of the funniest yet scariest things I've ever heard in my life. He said, think of how stupid the average person is.
I saw this one, yeah.
And then think to yourself, there's 50% of people that are stupider than that. And that's crazy to me. Another thing I like to think of, I just did the Trump hands. Another thing I like to think of is in school, this may seem mean, and I'm a teacher, so I know all about this shit. Everyone knows who the fucking moronic people are and who are not. Who are the kids that eat glue and who are the ones that don't. Okay, which ones take the short bus and which ones don't. And then we all graduated high school and no one has labels anymore. We just all assume if you're an adult, you're an intelligent person. I remember going to the grocery store with my mom and dad when I was younger and seeing the people that worked at the store. And I thought they were all experts in the field. And then when I worked at a grocery store, when I was old enough, I realized, holy shit, those kids were also probably 16, 17-year-old morons like me. But I just assumed, oh, they're working a job. They must be a really intelligent person. That is, I feel everyone is just, we all have like the ages that are on our license and driver's license, stuff like that. But our like mature age in our brain are all fucking different from each other. Like there are some people like, I'm like, how do you cross the street safely? Like how can you do that? You're a fucking idiot. Okay. And that's who all those videos, the salmon videos, that's who all those videos are for. I'm not saying I'm smarter than the average person, but I am. I'm not saying it, but I am.
I understand what you mean, but that's why when it comes to viral content, if you look at if you break it down, if you look at the commonalities, it's short. 8 seconds is tops.
Because that's all their
Simple.
minuscule minds can process.
Simple.
Realistically, I'm not bashing.
Yeah,
them.
simple. You don't even have to have it volume on, man. You can listen to it in mute. A 5-year-old can understand it. So when you look at like our content, we go into like a bit more details. You need to pay attention a little bit longer.
Yeah.
It's not, we've already lost them by then.
Yeah.
But it's like, but me, I don't want those people anyways. Me, I want
No,
the
I
people
agree.
who are gonna. So I think a lot of it depends on like this is really what it comes down to. It's like, who are you making your content for? And are you attached to do you want just views?
Yeah.
Because if you want just views, it's not going to be talking about very specific topics of like programming and you understand like the
There's only
nitty-gritty
one thing
stuff.
that ticks me off about my lack of views, and it's like, I'm not saying I want each one of my videos to have 100,000 views. I don't have 100,000 subscribers. That's unrealistic. But I would just like my videos to be, my views to be proportionate to the amount of subscribers that I have. Because I'm
Right.
not the type of person, I don't subscribe to a channel and never watch it. I look at my shit on the side all the time. I'm subscribed to like 9 YouTube channels because if I keep seeing something come up in my subscription and I don't watch them anymore, I unsubscribe. So it's like when I have just over 12,000 subscribers and I'm getting a video with like 200 views, that annoys me. You know what I mean? Like I told my wife the other day, I'm like, I have like a pass fail rate for how many views a video gets where I deem it to be a fail or a pass. If it gets less than 1,000 views, I consider that a fail. And
Right.
I wish I didn't make the video in the first place. Like even if the video took me half an hour to make, I could have spent half an hour banging my head into the wall. Like, you know what I mean? I could have literally
Right.
spent that half hour doing anything else. Like I said, I'm not expecting to get more than my subscribers. Those videos are 100% going to be outliers, but I just wish my views were more in proportion with the amount of subscribers that I have. That's the
Yeah.
only thing I ask for.
That impresses me more though. Like when you see like good ratios, you look at like a guy like based in bodybuilding. Like I forgot how many. Like don't quote me on how many subs he has, but
No, he's got to have, let me see, he's got to have quite a bit.
he has at least 40K. Pretty sure. But like
Probably.
if you look at his subs to like his viewers, man, that's like a great ratio, man. He has a good community section. He has a good comment section going on. Everyone's engaging. It's very
39.1.
positive.
You're almost spot on.
Yeah, there's no drama. Like in my opinion, that's very impressive. I think that's what a lot of people should shoot for. Quality over quantity.
Yeah, like no one's gonna be a Sam Sulik where you get to like 2 million like overnight.
Yeah, and like I think that's the problem with a lot of content creators is that they're trying to hit a home run on every video, and it's like.
Yeah.
Every video is like click me, and it's like we're trying to go super viral. Yeah, we're viral now, and it's like, what about just giving like some good value? Like I look at like for example a lot of the videos. I look at like my top videos that have like over 100K views, and like there's a lot of commonalities there. And I'm not saying that what worked before is necessarily going to work in 2025 because the game's changed a little bit.
It always changes, yeah.
But like a lot of my videos were on the shorter side, and it's like under 5 minutes. And like me, when I'm watching like, cooking tutorials and stuff like that, I'm like, I'm not going to watch the one that's like 35 minutes. I'm going to watch the one that's like 5 minutes. Yeah, 5 minutes long. Show me how to cook it. And it's like, okay, well, and it has some views too. It's like, all right, let me click on that. And I think that's what it is. That people, if someone wants to know how to train their neck or something, and it's like you got the 45-minute video.
Come to my channel. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, you got the 5 minute. You got to get a little 5-minute video, and it's like, look, the ultimate guide on how to do it.
Yeah.
5 minutes. It's like that's pretty hard to not click on,
I agree.
And you don't have to go on like the 50th page. Like it's maybe on the first page when you type it in.
I agree with that too.
I think it's also like accessibility and like a lot of people. I think it's also meeting people where they're at. Like if you look at maybe some of the videos you have, it's like how long is the video versus how long people actually sticking around for. So like moving forward, I plan on really, and it's hard when you're passionate. You get carried away with the topic, but like sometimes it's good to also be like, okay, well, are people really gonna watch the full thing? So it's like I suppose like a 12-minute video, maybe break it down to 6 or 5. So we're actually gonna watch the full thing,
I hear you for sure. This is another problem. Like we'll watch it and then discuss.
I'm more famous. I'm more famous. Man, come on, man, don't say you're a lot. So 8 million followers on TikTok. Your second account and still hasn't hit as many followers. I don't give a fuck about my second account. Man, talking about my main account. Bro, this nigga, fuck, my main account got. I'm more.
Okay. Can you even tell them apart? What do you mean I'm more famous?
But is that fitness? Is that these look like boxers though?
You don't know who those idiots are?
That's a good thing, no?
That's a great thing.
I don't know who those guys are.
They just came out, they fail. I'm going to show you what video basically got them. I don't want to say on the map because they were like on the map for 10 seconds.
I think it's a badge of honor to not know some of these people.
Yeah, when I tell my wife that, she's going to be like, lucky him. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is what put them on the map.
Island boy, and I've been trying to make. Oh, I'm an island boy. I'm a just island boy. I'ma just island boy. I'ma get key white wine. You're gonna keep that gun. I'll be just staring at the sun. I'm just out full gazing. I'm like, pull where I'm staying. They're like, you wanna be famous? I'm trying to be out the greatest. I'm a Florida boy. I get a real damn tropic. I'm like the damn on the topic.
I can't. I'm losing brain cells. They just keep going on like that. Okay. So if I were to have a child, okay, there's 3 things I would never want them to be. Number 3 is a prostitute. Number 2 is a drug addict. Number 1 is one of those fucking guys. I would kill myself if my son or daughter ever looked like that.
Okay, but remember when we were talking about the strength unknown?
Yeah.
Like, you look at like their hair, it's like it's different. You know, so like that's
No,
what I think too.
for
It's
sure.
different. What do you say, Florida boy?
They're from
Island?
Cuba or they're Miami or some shit like that.
Pretty sure they said Florida though.
Okay, maybe, whatever.
Anyways, doesn't matter. But like what I'm saying is like, yeah, like me. I like when I dissect, when I look at content, I like to also look at the bright side, man. I don't like to just be like the
No,
negative
I
guy.
look at the
think,
negative.
how is this getting views? Like I'm not gonna go out of my way to comment, but if I see something that has views, I'm like, okay, what is it about it? You know, what's that it factor? And like I said before, lunch break content, man. Just the people had a stressful day, man. It's like, all right, let me listen to Island Boy, you know?
Yeah, but then what was so funny is they got so many views on Instagram or TikTok, specifically TikTok, and then a club booked them. And I don't think they realized that real life is not Instagram, because just listen.
And I'm just trying to make it on my island boy. I put my vest on, yeah. Hey, I'm an island boy. I'm an island boy. I'm gonna keep it like it's all right. Said I'm gonna better keep that going. I'm gonna do it while I'm staring at the sun. I've been really at the pool gazing. And the pool.
Like, that's when I was like, yeah, like, what did they think? People were watching the video because they thought it was a great song?
But my man, I'm gonna tell you something, man. There's an influencer for everybody, man.
Yes, but let's be honest,
I'm
Phil,
telling you,
the high percentage of people watching that weren't watching it and then sending it to their friends to be like, look at this banger.
I know what you're saying, man. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm just saying, I guarantee you there's a lot of people, if they made music, that would gladly listen to it. 100%. No shadow of doubt in my mind. It's just because there's an artist for everybody, there's an influencer for everybody. And it's just like, I find that when I started adopting that mindset, I'm like, okay, like it's really, there's really somebody for everybody, you know?
Yeah. But then what happened is they did that. They started doing like they appeared on podcasts or whatever. They were like Hawk Tua, like they were just the flavor of the month. And then their celebrity status kind of went down. So they made a video. They're brothers, twin brothers, by the way. They made a video of themselves making out with each other.
Audience for that too, man. Audience for that too, man. Telling you, man, it's the internet.
And then I don't know if you could see based on that press conference I showed you, they started getting into like the YouTube boxing thing, which is like,
yeah,
that's when, to me, your career has like, not everyone's a Jake Paul where you can actually become like have a boxing / whatever entertainment career. That's when you know, because I remember it was like in the early 2000s, we were probably still kids. They used to have this thing called celebrity boxing, and they would get these washed up fucking boxers to, I think it was like they made fun of it too. It was like a claymation thing, but I think they got them to do it in real life.
Yeah.
Like, that's when you know. That used to be the kiss of death. When a show starts involving like D-list celebrities, to me, if I'm a celebrity or an actor, singer, whatever, I know my career's done when I'm being asked to be on a reality show. That's when you know your career's done. When you're being asked.
Well, that's what they say about Love and Hip Hop, you know? And when somebody goes on Love and Hip Hop or whatever
Perfect
the show's
example.
called.
Perfect example. But it's just like so many. You're right. There's an audience for everything. That's the unfortunate part, because I was talking with my wife and my friend the other day about like why my views seem to struggle and whatnot. And I was just saying, at the end of the day, it almost there's nothing I can kind of do to my channel well, there are things, but there's nothing I can do after this many years to get the views that I want, just because the average person doesn't want to consume the content I put out. And this is not me being morally superior or whatever, because the average person is a fucking moron. It's blunt. It's so blunt, but it is the truth. I'm not talking about everyone. I'm talking about the average person, the person that's, like you said, on the lunch break or whatever. And the thing is, those were the people that I was never catering to, ever. So I kind of
Right.
can't be mad at the views I'm getting. But like I said, I just want
Right.
it to be proportionate to my followers. Because if I have 12,000 followers, that means 12,000 people have been like, hey, I like these videos. But maybe just because I'm not the type of person that subscribes and then never shows up again. Like if you pop up in my feed and I realize I haven't watched you like in a month, I'm gone.
Yeah, like when I watch like your channel, for example, like I think if I think about how I even discovered your channel, I'm pretty sure it was during the pandemic. Pretty sure because I was starting my own home gym.
Probably.
Yeah. So, and it's no coincidence we're talking. It's no coincidence we're talking right now. Like you clearly drew me in like
Yeah.
with a lot of your videos. I'm like, okay, these are good DIYs. These are good.
I used
These
to
are
do
good
a lot of those,
ideas,
yeah.
you know. And I'm like, at that period of time, I'm like, man, this is really what I needed, you know. So like, your vibe really does attract your tribe. You know?
I have
So
no
if
doubt in my
somebody has a
mind.
home gym, man, they're for sure gonna watch you. 100%.
Yeah. I have no doubt in my mind I would have stopped making YouTube videos if two things happened. The pandemic, obviously, so a bunch more people were consuming YouTube. But then Matt Wenning put out a video talking about belt squats. And belt squats became like all the rage. Also, people were looking for ways how to squat at home. And then I put out my DIY belt squat just with like a safety arm and a barbell and weights, which is something that if you have a home gym, you already have that. You don't need to buy a machine. That video next time I'm thinking, I'm like, I haven't put out a video in months. Why am I getting like 4 or 5, sometimes 20 subscribers a day? Which back then, when I was sub 1,000, that was unheard of, right? So it's going up and up and up. And then I just check my analytics and I'm like, oh, this belt squat video is getting like 500 views a day. I posted it 6 months ago. So that video, even to this day, that's my most viewed video. I think it's got like just over 200,000 views. And it's just, if you look at its analytics, it's like this, it's responsible for like 30% of the money
Yeah.
made on YouTube. It's responsible for like 10% of my subscribers. It's definitely my best video. And it's funny, when I look at it, it's a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah.
My lighting was bad. My camera was bad. It's
Yeah.
easily, the information in there is top notch. The presentation of it is absolutely garbage.
It's always like that though. It's
Yeah.
usually the ones we don't expect to pop off. Like the one that still gets the most views on my end is the wrist roller.
Okay.
It took me 5 minutes to make that video, man. I
Mm.
put zero thought into it, but it just so happened that at that time people really wanted big forms. They still do, and there weren't really many videos talking about it. And like,
Yes.
and that's kind of like there was a lot of untapped territory on the YouTube app when we started, but now it's like
But
everything
also
is
the
getting,
algorithm was completely different. The algorithm now is bullshit, in my
it's
opinion.
a bit different now, you know. Like now, back in the day, if you made a neck training video, like you were gonna be on the first page. If you make a neck training video in 2025,
Yeah.
like you might be on the 25th, man. Like
Yeah.
there's so many of them because people see the next gen, the older generation, they just copy. They just copy what they see
Yeah.
and they try to make it better, which they should try to make, you know.
I had this guy approach me. He's like, hey, I noticed your SEO is a bit low. I can optimize it for you. You'll get a bunch of views. It's always these fuckers from India all the time. Okay. I get emails like every day. And I thought, I'm like, finally, this one guy, I'm like, okay, how much would it cost? He's like, it's $20 for one video and I'll optimize it for like 3 days. You keep track of the analytics for 3 days. And if you want, we can work going forward. I'm like, okay, you know what? I'll PayPal this guy $20. And at first I'm like, yo, it's $20 your currency, like Indian, right? Rupees or whatever. He's like, no, it's 20 US. I'm like, fuck, if this guy was Indian, I'd employ him the rest of my life. The rupee,
Right.
you know what I mean? But then I'm
Thanks
like,
for
okay, so I'll just do the trial run with the $20. And you make someone like an editor on your video so they can like just go in. All they can do is change the description. They can't delete videos. That's all they can do. And so he did it. And it was no different than the rest of my videos. I went into the thing, I saw it was 100 out of 100 score. It was all optimized, all the tags, they were all ranking high or whatever. And he got me maybe like a 2% boost in viewership, whatever the heck you want to call it. So I said to him, he's like, are we going to continue working? I'm like, honestly, thank you. Like, I'm not disappointed. I don't want my money back or whatever. It definitely wasn't that bad. I'm like, but honestly, I didn't really even notice a difference. He's like, oh, well, it could take a couple of months. I'm like, yeah, how convenient. The person charging monthly says it could take a couple of months. So I'm like, no, dude, you know what? Like whatever. Like all he did was use vidIQ. That's actually all he did. He showed me
Yeah.
what it was, and I'm like, Okay, number one, I could do that myself. Number two, I didn't get into making videos to just be like, oh, I gotta make sure this tag and that tag, and it's the first 200 words. Like, if that's what it takes, I'm just not gonna make videos anymore. Like, that's just the way I look at it. So if I have to go through all that, then I just don't want to, because that's like, sure, it's supposed to be a business at the end of the day, but it's just like I don't want to micromanage thing to the millionth degree. And that's another thing. My video about belt squats back then, ask me how many tags I put in that video. The answer is probably 0. Ask me how much work I put in my description back then. None whatsoever. I made a decent thumbnail. I've reworked it by now, but I made a decent thumbnail. I tried to make the title about what it's about. I tried to show like, here's what's wrong with most DIY belt squats. Here's why mine's better at the end. And if you'd like it, you do it, whatever, right? But like the SEO and the algorithm, there was next to nothing back then. Now it's like, oh, you have to have this. And even one of the things on vidIQ is make sure your title invokes emotion. My kickot's emotion. Well, who gives a fuck? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just, like all these little things. It's like, I wish I could have it in front of me, but all these little things about like me, I don't care about. You know what I mean?
I hear you. I remember I was watching this video, man. Pretty sure it was Elliot Halls. This is an old one.
Oh, that's
It's
ancient.
an old one. But he mentioned how, man, it's funny because I haven't referenced this guy in forever, but it was an old video. I haven't watched his channel in a while. But I remember I think he's more into, I don't even know if it's been about like fitness as much now, but I do recall him saying before he didn't even really thumbnail, but put the actual thumbnail on. He just
No, it's just him.
just whatever YouTube was giving him, he would just click on that and use that as a thumbnail. But he's like, the power is really in the words. And me, I'm like, man, that like I'm like, that's an interesting take, because the way I look at thumbnails is like action movie covers.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, is this a movie I want to watch? You know, and then the title is obviously important too. But me, I always thought people were more visual. But he says the opposite. He said it's really about the words. I mean, I think it's about both.
But maybe back then, like that's coming from a perspective of someone that didn't need to do all these things with his YouTube channel. Right.
But
You know
but he was saying it like this was not like a video from 2012, man. This is a video like pretty sure it was 2020 or something. Like,
oh wow.
Wasn't that long. It wasn't like, it was maybe in the last couple years, you know?
But you know, I will
of
say this.
titles.
I've noticed when YouTube started going downhill and people were talking, like, just type in YouTube is dead. You'll see Reddit threads from like 3-4 years ago talking about how YouTube just not a viable content creation platform anymore. And so many people have said that when Susan, whatever the heck her name is, whenever the new YouTube CEO came in, you can literally trace from that day she was the CEO, YouTube started going downhill. From literally that day. And I don't want to make this sound like a good thing, but she's not the CEO anymore because she has passed away. But I've noticed YouTube has become slightly better since she is not the CEO.
Really?
Yes. So obviously those claims of her ruining or killing YouTube have some merit. One of the worst things YouTube ever did, the worst thing, was get rid of dislikes. That's one of the worst things they ever did.
It's interesting. Yeah, I was thinking about that the other day too.
And I know why they got rid of it. I know why. It was during the pandemic, and I don't know about how it was where you are, but anytime they posted anything with the prime minister, posted anything with the premier, posted anything by City TV about anything pandemic related, the video would have like 5,000 views, it'd have like 28 likes, and then like thousands of dislikes. Okay, so I personally think the government's got in Google's ear and said, hey, we need dislikes to go away, blah, blah, blah. But put it back, because to me, if a video has tons of dislikes, I know right away, I probably should not watch this video. You know what I mean?
Right,
Now
right.
you have to do like a little bit of math in your head. Oh, there's this many views. Because you could still dislike a video. It's just not public knowledge.
Right.
Which to me is not good. Like also what I wish they never changed, instead of a like dislike, was the star rating system. Do you remember that? That we were talking almost a decade ago. Over.
I don't even remember. I didn't know
So
me to
let's say
start
you
reading.
like a video, right? You don't just like it or dislike it. You would give it like a 4-star. But then you as a new person coming in would see what the average rating of the video is. If it's a 1.2, you know this video sucks dog shit. If you know it's a 4.8, you know it's a pretty good video. It's well liked or whatever. So that's one thing I also wish YouTube never got rid of, because it just let the viewer know if the video was good or not. Now it's like the only indicators, does this have a lot of views? But that's like what we spoke about before. That's not a good indicator for everyone if this is a good video. So I don't know. There's just been some errors on YouTube's part that I feel like they could easily correct, but it's I don't know. It's
Yeah,
just
but that's outside of our control, you know. So
no,
like,
100%
if it was up to me though, I think now that you mention it, I would bring back the dislike. I like
Oh,
that.
shit.
Just stand where you stand, you know. Just stand where you
You know what?
stand.
There's a video.
Put the line in the sand. What's the likes? What the dislikes? You know, there's nothing wrong with that.
There's a video I had one time, and the average person would have taken this video down. It had 80% dislikes. It was talking about how the squat, the bench, and the deadlift are not the be all and end all of exercises. You don't have to physically force yourself to do those if your goal is not powerlifting. You can do other forms. Like you don't have to do a back squat. You don't have to do a conventional off the floor deadlift. You don't have to do a barbell bench press. You could do an incline. You could do a dip. You can do sumo. You could do block pull, rack pull, whatever you want that just fit a squat motor pattern, a push motor pattern, and a hinge/pull movement pattern, right? Now, tell me, I made this video in 2017. Tell me how many people talk about that now. Like how many people support that message now that are big name content creators?
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Just a lot or a little.
I see what you mean. Well,
I would say there's a lot of people that say that now.
yeah, I hear what you're saying.
But problem was at that point, and even still now, I wasn't established enough to have that opinion. But I'm saying it 8 years ago. I was correct then. I'm correct now. But because I'm not a familiar face saying it, people hit dislike. And that's a huge problem, not only with content online, but with our society in general. It's not the message, it's about what mouth it's coming out.
Right. That's another thing too, when it comes down to like disagreements online. That's what bothers me as well. Like if somebody has like 1 million subs.
It's tribalism.
Yeah, somebody has 1 million subs and then he's standing his ground with an opinion, but he has 10K. You need a really fucking good opinion if you're going to be at the 10K.
100%.
You need to have a lot of like,
I understand it. I do from like a psychological perspective, but once again, it's the stupid people that fall for that. But it's so wrong, in my opinion. It's like when a celebrity endorses something. I don't give a shit. You ever see you're a fan of Dave Chappelle or just know his work in
Dave
general?
Chappelle, yeah, he's hilarious, man.
You ever see the skit he's talking about when 9/11 happened? Much Music was like, hold on, we got Ja Rule on the phone. Let's hear what Ja has.
I haven't seen that one, no.
And Dave Chappelle goes, who the fuck cares what Ja Rule has to think about a time like this? He's like, I'm scared to death. It's true. 20 minutes after 9/11 happens, who wants to hear about what Ja Rule has to think about 9/11?
No, seriously.
You know I mean, just because he's Ja Rule.
I hear that. Me, yeah, like, I don't know, me personally, I'm just staying in my lane. I'm just doing my thing. And,
Of course.
I think if you just put out good, I think the bottom line, if you're a genuine guy, you put out good information, something good has to come from that, man. You know, you're not lying, you're not deceiving people. It's like, I don't care, man. It's like, even with the amount of subs I have now, like if I could just get it better, people underestimate how many people 10K really is, or 15K. If you put, I could fill up like a whole stadium. You know, I went to that Ja Rule concert. Ja Rule came to the Bell Center in Montreal. Like, I think it was 15K people in that whole stadium. That's 10K. I was looking around, man. I'm like, that's a big amount of people, man.
Yeah, if I recall, like where the Leafs play, Air Canada Center or whatever the hell it's called now, I believe it's like 10K. And I've been to Leaf games before.
Yeah.
When I look around, it's like, wow, like this is how many people, like I'm at 12. So like take away a whole section, more multiple sections. And that's how many people are subscribed to me on YouTube. That's pretty cool.
It's huge, yeah. But it was a 2000th concert. So it was like Nelly, Ja Rule,
okay. So
Kingy,
that,
you know, like all those like guys like I grew up listening to. And yeah, so as I'm looking at around,
basically
like,
our golden era, basically.
yeah, it was sick. It's a lot of people, and that's why people be like, oh, I only got 1,000 views. 1,000 views it's not bad, man. Especially, so I would take it even further. Like you're looking at your sub count to the views of the video. Me, I'm looking at the engagement in the comment section.
Yo, I say that all the time. Like
you got no comments, but you got a lot of views. Who cares?
that's what I say all the time. It's like I have so many people subscribed, so many people or X amount of people that watched it. And it's like the videos I get are great video, did this. And it's like, are these bots? Like that's what I think. Like I personally like the engagement. Like if you said great video and then literally anything else after that, I'd be like, thank you. This person put a little bit of time investment after their comment.
Right.
That's fine. But it's like when I put up a video, it'll get like 200, 300 views and it gets like one comment. And it's like my best friend. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's when I'm like, why did I even make this video? You know what I mean?
Right. So there's a lot of that's the thing too, my man. There's a lot of ego that goes into
Yeah,
this whole YouTube thing. It's like,
that's very
how many
fair.
subscribers do you have? How many? Oh yeah, okay, you got 20K subs. Okay, and it's like, who cares, man? Like that's what you should really be focused on is like, how many in-house buyers do you have? How much of a loyal, like if you start a Patreon tomorrow, if you have a members only club, out of your 12K or however many subs you have, how many people are gonna pay $5 a month for that?
True.
To me, that's more like valuable. And that's something I plan on doing in the future too, having like a members only section and having a bit more like specific content. But right now I'm still at a point where I'm still pumping out the free stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? Quite a few people have bought my ebooks and stuff like that, which I'm always grateful for.
But you see, like for instance, like if you look at Based on Body, I keep referencing, he's a good example. Like if you look at his comment section, man, people are writing large paragraphs.
Yeah.
And sometimes he's responding, sometimes his subs are responding, and like it's all positivity, man. There's no gossip, there's no drama. And like to me, that's a community of men who are really trying to uplift each other and build. You know, that's the kind of that I would take a lot of pride in that. And I have that on a somewhat of a level too, but he has it on a big level. And then Alex Leonidas, this guy has it on a huge level. And like big props to Alex, man, because he's one of the few guys who has a huge track record and who didn't sell out.
You know what I will say
not
big
sell
props
out.
to him on though? You definitely remember this because you know him a lot more personally, closer than me. And he just powered through everything to where he's up there. He's up there now for sure. Like with the big boys. Not even in terms of subscribers, I'm just in terms of what like weight his name holds and stuff like that. So, and you're right, he didn't sell out in any way. Does he have an app? I don't know, does he? Yeah.
Not that I'm aware of.
Have any of that stupid shit you would expect from people once they reach a certain level, which is admirable.
But he has integrity, you know, and like, but there's a lot of guys who they have a similar sub count and they got there way faster than him.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you a lot of these people we won't be talking about them in the next couple of years.
Yeah. He has longevity on his side too.
He has longevity, man. He has integrity too. And like you take his videos seriously because you're like, anyways, man, a lot of respect for him. And like I think that really the tone when I came in. I'm like, man, I can't just be posting anything, you know, and I have to. Not to say I have like some big boots to fill or anything like that, but like I just saw the way I saw him work, you know, and I saw him work in front of me and I'm like, man, this is a guy who's very driven, man. Like he's nothing but good stuff to say about him, man. And I think he's a really good role model for especially the new generation, man, who are very impatient.
I was just thinking about what I was talking about before about like how society, like, look at me. My wife's in the food space, so she got invited to this new restaurant that just opened downtown Toronto. They had like a grand opening. It was like red carpet style. Like there was even some CP24 news station. She's pretty big in Toronto. She was there. So many people, like they had live mermaids because it's like on the water. And I don't know how people got invited there. Like she got invited just because she's like in this food space. And just the whole night, my wife's like, you look a bit grumpy in the beginning. I'm like, yeah, because I was. Like I hate events like that. But like everyone there was acting like they were a celebrity. And like just the way they were. And also like I understand they invite these people because they want like advertisement. People put it in their stories. Like my wife took a couple things. She made a post about it the next day. But at one point this dude's coming out with a plate of like appetizer. I'll hold it up like here. And he was holding it pretty low. And this guy ran up to him and shoved, you know, the like external lights on cameras that like attach to your phone. He like shoved it right up the thing. Didn't even take an appetizer and walked away. And you could tell the dude with the thing was like, what the fuck? Like as he did it. And I was like, no one there was like in the moment. No one there was enjoying it. It was just all about what pictures they could take of the place. And everyone was it just had like this weird vibe. Like we were in this line to get sushi, which was already taking long enough. It is. Sushi is one of my favorite foods and people are taking so long. Like there's this guy that will put a piece of red tuna in your mouth and people are taking pictures of the sushi, not even getting the food on the plate. I'm like, can you fucking hurry up? Like I'm hungry out of my mind. And they're like documenting everything. It was like such a like people went there to like feel important event. I was just there to support my wife, whatever she wanted, whatever. You were allowed to bring a guest. And it just had this like air of like everyone here I know works a dog shit job that they hate. And everyone here is acting like they are on the actual red carpet of like the Emmys. It was just such a try hard event. Restaurant was lovely. Don't get me wrong. The food was amazing.
Right.
But it was
More
more,
of a status
it was more the attitude of the people that were there, which was like, just drove me up the wall.
because you're not, and then the worst part is you're paying like $60 for like a piece of chicken and like a little bit of broccoli.
Well, it was free because like
It's
that's
free.
another
Okay,
thing.
yeah.
Everyone was there for free. So when people are like dressing in this like really nice clothes, it's like, I know you got in here free just like me. You know what I mean? You're not here because you're special. I know why you're here. You're here because they want to have a story, free advertising, because it was the day before the restaurant opened. Like the actual opening where customers could actually come was the next day. This was just called, I think it was called like the soft opening, where there was like this big hoopla that like they had like, because it's on the water, it was mainly a seafood restaurant, but they had like these live mermaids swimming in tanks outside. So it was like, it was an event, but it's like, don't act like you're in this exclusive club that you have to pay a lot to get into. Like, relax. I know why you're here, and it's
Right.
the same reason I am.
I see what you're saying. I think there's a lot of power in not taking yourself too seriously, you know?
Yeah, it's not that I was trying to be like a grump or whatever. It was just like, also the place was packed and people were constantly getting in my way. I think that's the thing I was so annoyed at. Like, people have the social awareness of like a butterfly. Like, they were just all over the place. Get the fuck out of my way. Okay. That's what I think was annoying me the most.
Like, I saw this reel on IG and it's like they're on they're on like a Tinder date, you know?
Okay.
Like, so what do you do for work? The guy's like, yeah, so basically I work for a multi-billion-dollar petroleum export company.
Okay.
Like, you just see him see him pumping gas or something, you know? And just like,
Okay, just trying to make it sound better than like much better than it
exactly,
actually
exactly.
is. Yeah.
And then the woman, she's like, yeah, that's great. But you see the video of him actually pumping the gas, and then he's like, so what do you do for work? And then she's like, yeah, so me, I work for a multi-million-dollar and like food, like something about food, and like you just see her like she works like Wendy's or something like that.
She's
You know?
a server. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's just like sometimes people try to make themselves sound like just a bit more important than they are. You
Well,
know?
what's funny, it's like you said, seem a bit more important than they are. They both didn't lie.
They didn't lie,
It's
but
just that they are on the lowest end of the company you could possibly be.
Yeah, but they left out some details, man.
Some very big details. Because if you work at Wendy's, no one's gonna think you're like third up from the CEO.
Yeah,
They're just
so
gonna
me,
assume you work where I would see you.
yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan of when people try to sound like they're like people are beneath them. Like, oh, I have, and like nowadays there's a lot of influence. A lot of people are. If you were to tell somebody, oh, I'm YouTube famous in like 2015, it would have been a big deal, you know. But like now, it's like you could get 1 million views, man, and like just if you're lucky, man.
Yeah, and anyone
That's
can
like a
do that.
reel
Like
or
you
like
said,
a
low
YouTube reel.
barrier to entry.
It's a very low barrier to entry, so it's like might as well just not take ourselves like still be professional, but not think like, okay, I'm better than anybody else just because I have more eyeballs on my page.
Of course, yeah.
Most people don't even know about anyways because it's in a very specific niche in fitness, you know. And it's like I look at like a lot of photos of me like back then, and I've really been trying to correct it where like I tend to really squint and like I tend to look very serious in my pictures.
True. Now that I can picture it in my head, yeah.
And I'm just like, man, like, and this is and like in a flexing shot, it's a bit different because you know you're flexing, whatever. But like, I'm just like, man, like, I gotta, you know.
My wife always gets so mad because before I got my teeth straightened, I never used to smile in pictures. There was a couple of teeth I didn't like, so I would never smile, right? So she would always get so annoyed when I take a picture and like I'll see if I could do the face. I'd just be like super serious.
Yeah.
Like all the time. Like she's like smiling and I'm just beside her. I'm like,
Yes, it's the macho tough guy look. It's like,
so
oh,
like I mentioned before, we just got married like just about over a month ago. She used to be like, listen, like you're gonna get your teeth fixed because like I don't want to see you like the whole day at our wedding. Okay, so like I'm not seeing that in wedding pictures. So I like how they turned out. I got like the invisible ones. So I'm still wearing the retainer right now, but it was like a 6-month process. It was pretty good. Anyone that could afford it, I would highly recommend it to. But you said back in the day, and it reminded me of like seeing someone like your cheat, mainly rows in general. I think that's like the easiest.
Yeah, let's get back to fitness, bro. Let's get back to this.
Yeah.
Fitness.
I feel like that's the easiest way to cheat. And I don't feel like even at your, I guess, cheatiest, if that's a word that one would use, would you ever perform something like this? And I remember seeing this video like way back when.
Devil rows. It's like a Rubik's row.
But way
Even
worse.
worse.
It's 525.
Okay, so it's like a sumo pronated Yates row, but then more upright.
Ish. Yeah. It's almost, I would almost say it's like a sumo shrug in a way. It's not the worst thing I've seen in the
Okay,
world.
so
Go ahead.
that's the thing. So when you look at a lift like that, the you always have to think, okay, what's this person's background? What's this person's goal? And what are they trying to achieve with this? Because he's pulling in a sumo way. Maybe he's a power lifter. Maybe he has this fucking elite coach
Yep.
on the other side of the world who's like, man, if you do like these, this is really gonna carry over to like maybe your lockout or something. I don't know. It could. I'm not gonna knock it. Like it could have some application, but as far as like building your upper back, I would not. That's not the tool for the job for me personally.
See, this is the way I would look at something like that. It's like, can you row like that from time to time? Yes. Should all your rows look like that? No. Because at a certain point, you're just looking for more weight, more weight, more weight, right? And I feel like things like shrugs and rows and maybe rack pulls, things like that, do lend themselves better to cheating. Like, how can someone cheat on a bench press? They can lift their ass really high off the bench. They can bounce super hard. Like, there's less limitations,
You
right?
could arch like crazy. You could cheat like crazy on it. You could arch like crazy.
Yes, but I'm talking about almost like with momentum. You know what I mean? Like you could just use an obscene amount of leg drive.
You
but
could
then-
cheat. You could cheat on anything. You could cheat
Yes.
on literally any lift. And the more experienced you are as a coach, the more subtle it'll be to spot out the cheats. But they're happening, you know, which isn't necessarily bad because like I said, it's about context of what you're trying to achieve, you know. But yeah, sorry, I just cut you off.
No, don't worry.
Yeah.
Another thing, have you ever witnessed, or maybe it's happened to you before? Because I know it's happened to me. I'll tell the story in a sec. You ever blacked out before?
Did he actually faint?
Yeah, and he
He
smashed
actually
his hand.
fainted.
Look, he smashed his hand right on the bench.
You see that's a recipe to get 2 million views for sure.
So has that ever happened to you? And maybe not to that extent where you pass out like straight from standing up to the floor, but have you ever like kind of got dizzy or?
100%. Like I said, you sometimes you have to see how far you have to go to see. Okay, I don't really need to go that territory, you know.
Yeah.
Bro, like you just spoke about the row, okay?
Yep.
Like I used to do. I used to train at this gym in downtown Montreal, man. And I kid you not, they used to say this gym had 13 women members.
Okay.
13, man. A lot of girls were scared to even just train there.
Oh, so 13 is not like it wasn't a private gym.
Fuck, nah.
Oh,
it was
okay.
public. It was as public as it got. Like anyone was allowed, but like it was a lot of like meatheads, you know.
Okay.
A lot of meatheads, and like you were trying to find a girl in that gym was like trying to find Waldo, man. Like it's really rare, you know. It's a lot of guys, you know. Anyways, they had and it was one of the most dungeon, like grimy gyms.
That's what I pictured.
Everything metal, like pissy elevators. You go upstairs and like bottom floor, like it was at the top of a building, you know, downtown Montreal. Swear to God, it was called Le Gym. Le Gym. You ever in downtown Montreal?
Dude, that sounds like something they would make up for like a movie.
I
Sounds like
swear to
some
God,
gym, right?
it was a dungeon gym. Like, and you know what's crazy? Actually, what's his name? Paul Dillette apparently used to train there.
Oh.
One of the
A big black guy.
one of the widest humans to ever walk the planet. Apparently, he used to train there. I don't know. No, I haven't seen any footage of him, but apparently that used to be his gym. Anyway,
Interesting.
so yeah, so you go upstairs at the top floor. If you're ever on St. Catherine in Montreal, you can't miss it. Like the logo is huge, and that's how you could tell it's an old school gym. But they never took the logo off because I guess it's just too much hassle, you know.
Maybe.
But so the bottom floor was cardio, mid floor was upper body, top floor was lower. And anyways, so I used to bring my dumbbell because I'm like, man, like I used to bring my own adjustable dumbbell. Yeah. And I kid you not, man, must have been like, it was in between 200 to 250. Okay. And I would do it was like a horizontal power clean on steroids, man. Like it was with a duck under, like it was the sloppiest rows you could think of, man. Like I used to be so sloppy with my rows, man. You can't even like, I would meet it the whole way. 2 inches using like 25-pound plates. So it's like when I see people like lifting with like these very sloppy rows with the goal of building their back, it's just like, man, I feel like a lot of people are just taking it way too far. You know, I get the intensity. I get you're trying to train hard. I'm all for that, you know?
To me,
But there's still a middle ground.
I get 50s and I don't go any higher than that. And I basically croc row those. Basically,
Yeah, like as
I
long as
like
you're not
that.
like meeting it halfway, you know?
That's the furthest I have, like the what's that called? The badass dumbbells. So they have like the 10s or the 12 and a halves. So you can actually fit a lot of weight on there. And I go up to the one, and like, I'm sure when you had the 25s, you had the issue of them like bumping into your chest or just being too wide. So I don't really have that problem. It's nice. It looks like it's a pro style dumbbell that you might find at like probably at a gym, like you would see something like that. But well, that's what I like about that. But 150s, I feel like that's definitely heavier. It's about 50 pounds heavier than you're going to find in a public gym, but it's still going to be really heavy no matter, unless you're a super beast person, but it's going to be heavier than what the average person or maybe even intermediate person would need. But I just make sure that I'm not like basically moving weight. Like I'm moving it with my lats, with my upper back, with my rhomboids, all that shit, right? So I feel like I have learned when to cheat, if that makes any sense, or how much cheating is too much cheating. Because even with the snatch grip high pulls, I barely ever went over 225. 225 was the highest I would go, because that's first of all, I would feel extreme trap soreness, I would feel explosive, and I would get a lot of trap growth from that. So I'm like, is there even a point of going heavier on this exercise? I'm getting everything I need from it.
But check this out, like back training in particular is the easiest to cheat on. Hands
100%.
down. Hands down. And it's important to know. I think everybody should still experiment, you know? And that's why whenever you train with your boys, like you're always gonna hit back PRs, but you're most likely just using more body English. So I think as an experienced lifter, as you get more experience in the game, it's good to know, okay, when do I pull the plug on this thing? Like, how do you know when to end the set? If you're doing a lateral raise, like when is it done? Because you could always extend it. You could that dumbbell row 150, you could make that as easy or as hard as you want. I could give you, you already obviously know the techniques, but like I could cue you in a way where like you might get like 8 reps tops. And I could show you another way where you could maybe get like 20, you know? And it's like, especially when you're heavier too, like, and it's crazy because sometimes it's like a subtle, I remember Basin Bodybuilders was saying this too. If you're doing like an alternating curl, a little bit of body English goes a long way, man. Like you could, if you do it like a strict curl against the wall versus like just a standing alternating dumbbell curl with 0 body English versus just a little, just a little shrug and a little shoulder raise. It's crazy. But it's like, then you have to ask yourself, like, am I actually loading my biceps more from a bodybuilding standpoint? Or, because I don't know about anybody else, but when I do an and especially with my goals, when I do an isolation lift, my goal is to feel, obviously I'm chasing load to a certain extent. Load is still a metric that I'm tracking. But if I do a set of 15 on like an alternating dumbbell curl and I feel 0 in my biceps, it's not a good set.
Why are you doing it? Yeah.
I don't, what's the point, man? Like I want to get blood in that area. That's the whole point of the isolation. I'm doing a lying hamstring. If I'm doing a hamstring curl and if I just did like, let's say a drop set and I don't even feel my hamstrings, which is very possible, by the way, if you use a lot of low back and if you jerk it a lot and like you just, like you would think that you can't mess it up. But like if you have crap tempo, if you're not owning like the change of direction, if you're just throwing it, if you're using a lot of low back, you know, rib cage all over the place, like it's possible to end that set and not really feel much, you know. But if you lock everything in, that's why I really like pause reps, man. I love pause reps. I
initiate everything all at once.
Yeah, and I used to have this. I remember the first program I purchased, man. It was this football coach, okay. And like I used to do little internships. He would show me how he trained like the teams and stuff. And like I bought my first plan off him, man. And I told him, man, I'm trying to build muscle. So like he's like, all right, no problem, I got you. So he put a lot of tempos in the plan. And me, I'm like, man, this is crazy. He has me doing Bulgarian split squats with like a 5-second eccentric, you know, and you'd be super sore and stuff. And I remember once upon a time I was actually bashing tempos a bit. This is maybe like my early YouTube career. I'm like, man, like what's the point of like going that slow on it? Like we got to get back to the essence of lifting, you know, where it's like it's more animalistic. But like there's a lot of application to tempos, man. I program tempos all the time, especially people who have like terrible full body awareness and they just tend to drop weights. And especially for people who, I wouldn't say like sensation chases, but if somebody just doesn't feel the muscle at all, if you give somebody like a 4-second eccentric and you pause for like a nice 2 count and then you don't jerk it up, like on a curl, a hamstring curl, leg extension, whatever the case is, you're gonna get like way more blood in there. You're gonna feel so much. Your joints are gonna feel better. Like even when they rehab like elbows, like a lot of times you see these rehab protocols, they'll put them on like preacher curl, and they'll do slow eccentrics, and like it feels like you're like massaging the joints, man. It feels amazing. It's like I find like I just posted a tricep video. I don't got kind of getting carried away, but I posted a tricep video with I mentioned how I use more tempos in my tricep training. And my elbows, I feel like I'm 10 years younger, man.
Even
my skull crushers, like with a slower eccentric, man, I feel so good.
You know what that reminds me of? Have you ever seen that video with JM Blakely? He was a powerlifter. He basically invented the JM press.
Yeah.
Talking about doing a tricep extension. He did it with this young woman, and it was like 10 seconds up, 10 seconds down.
I've seen that, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, you're flexing the tricep as slow as you can. I remember when that video first came out, I'm like, this is bullshit. Who the hell would want to do that? All that's doing is cutting the weight in half of what you can use. But there's definitely some applications for stuff like that.
Yes, and I don't program slow concentrics often, but I have in the past. I had this one client, man. He would do hamstring curls lying. He just threw it up, man. And the pad would come off. The pad would come off of his calf. Like it
I've
looked
seen
like a
when
shit
people
show.
do that. Yeah.
I'm like, man, in that case, it's like, okay, we're gonna try to hug the pad a bit more. We're gonna try to keep the ribs a bit more down. We don't necessarily have to count it like that. Cause like I said, like lifting should still be like I think let's just do the tempo for like the next 2 sessions. Then you'll kind of get the idea. But like try to come up for 3 seconds. Don't throw it. And he's like, I never feel my hamstrings like that in my life. He's used to just throwing it, you know. He's just using a lot of like erectors and stuff, and like so there's definitely application to that. Like you give somebody like a 3-3-3, like they're gonna feel it, man. And the amount of body English you can use.
Forced to use the muscle as opposed to your joints and whatever.
Yeah, and it's also really good for people who are like coming back from an injury. People who tend to cheat a lot on lifts, a lot of isolation lifts. It could have some application too. And people who have trouble connecting with muscles. But like I said, I don't program them often though. I'll program like a slower negatives way more than I'll program a slow concentric. But as far as pause reps are concerned, I program those all the time. Pause the top, pause the bottom, just to control the change of direction.
When it comes to pull-ups, have you ever done something like this? Now, I'm not making fun of this at all. I'll just end it there because it's pretty much just that again. What do you think that would accomplish?
Well, anytime I see any video, anybody shows me anything, I'm always thinking, what's the goal of that? What are you trying to accomplish? Is he an arm wrestler?
Well, I think he's just some calisthenics guy because I have seen some other videos where he did. Have you ever heard of like a Russian pull-up?
No, I've heard of a lot of pull-ups, but not a Russian one. No.
It's where it's one rep. That's all it is. But you make the whole range of motion last 1 minute. So
okay, I've seen those. Yeah.
Go as slow as you can up. Like he's literally moving centimeters at a time.
Of course, I've seen that 100%.
Yeah.
I've tried that myself. It's pretty humbling. Yeah.
I will say that I don't even think I could do it for 5 seconds, to be honest. But he trains in a lot of different ways like that. The only thing I would criticize about that video, and like I said, you would have to understand why he's doing it. Why even lift your chin? Like he said like 27 reps or something, but like why not just stay there? Like what's the point of doing this? Maybe the oscillation makes it harder to stabilize of you moving your body, but to me, the chin part made no sense. To me, anyway.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about the neck extension.
Yeah.
But I am big on iso holds. Like iso holds definitely have some application, 100%. Especially for like arm wrestlers and people who want to own certain positions and really overload them. So I wouldn't be surprised if he like had like a bit of an arm wrestling background, or maybe he's practicing for like a very specific skill in calisthenics. You don't know.
It could be.
But as far as like building muscle, that's definitely not on my list.
No, yeah. Like, as I can imagine someone watching that video and be like, oh, look at this idiot thinks he's doing pull-ups. Like, clearly, he's not doing traditional pull-ups in that video. Clearly.
Right. But it's like I always like to bring it back to arm wrestling because like I had a little period with that. But like you got guys, for example, when they do technique work. And it's funny, you were just talking about technique work. Some of those guys have huge arms from the arm wrestling. Well, they think it's from the arm wrestling. A lot of times it's from the training that they do on the side. The arm wrestling is just a technique, you know? But like, you see some guys, man, who could hammer curl the 110s, and some skinny arm wrestler will beat them. But his training, he might just hold a 150 on a preacher and just hold it. So there is something to be said about specificity and like,
Of course.
and like you look at like Devin Larratt, for example, and like I've seen some of his training. Like he does like I think it's like 1/10 hammer curls on a preacher. Very, very partial reps, but like this guy's beating half tour.
You know what I didn't know about him? I didn't know he was a monster. Like, I didn't know he weighed as much as he did.
Oh, the guy, he's an animal, man. Yeah.
Like, because I saw him on, and maybe this was the big mistake I made. I saw, this was years ago, he was on Inside the NBA, and he came with some other arm wrestler who was like a big, like, he looked like Eric Spoto, the guy. Like, he looked like he had Popeye forearms. Like, he was big. Like, he was a fat looking guy, too.
11. Was it 11?
No, he wasn't Rush. He was just some other guy. I don't think he was well known. And he was standing next to like Charles Barkley and Shaq and whatever, who are very tall men in their own right. So I think that made him look a little bit smaller than he was. And I do think he was smaller in weight back then, but I didn't realize this guy's almost 300 pounds. Yes.
Okay, but he's tall though. He is tall.
No, but I didn't realize that. Like, because he was standing next to Shaq, right? So obviously he's going to look like an average sized person. But I didn't realize he was like 6'4", like 290.
Yeah.
Didn't realize he was that big.
He's a beast, man. He has I actually know a guy who like wrestled with him a couple times, you know.
I saw a video of him versus Michael Todd. I think they were like in Dubai. And I have to say, like, arm wrestling is cool when they get it going, but the amount of times they have to like restart and whatnot, it's like the least spectator friendly sport I've ever seen in my life. Like, the shit talking between rounds was entertaining, so it keeps you engaged. But the amount of times they're like, stop, we got to tie their hands together and oh, your elbows under the table. I was like, I get it. Like, I guess if you're super into it, you're like, wow, this is intense. But from like a third party perspective, I was like, can we just actually like see one round like that goes off without a hitch?
I had tons of arm wrestlers on the channel, and like even when I was
I would imagine back when you were making like forearm heavy stuff, I would imagine.
Yeah. And a lot of blog posts where I was interviewing them too, and like I forgot who I asked. I'm like, man, why is it not in the Olympics? You know? And plain and simple, like, man, it's just too short. Like the average game is like 8 seconds. Like if you tie your shoe, you missed it. You know? So
that's true. Because so many times I saw it would be like, as soon as the guy gets down to here, like the guy at the bottom will put up a fight a little bit, but then it's like bang, or they like disengage and that's a penalty or whatever. Yeah, I hear what they're saying.
It's like a one and done. So what they were saying is maybe it'd be a better idea if they have it like in halftime shows, you know, for a different sport.
Yeah.
So if you're watching boxing, but then like they put the arm wrestling, you know, there as like in the halftime show. Or you just keep it the way it is, where it's just like its own thing.
You know what? I think that is
probably its own
will
thing. Yeah.
Always be meant to be like a sideshow, like a carnival, that type of sport. Like it's also not polished enough. Like look at the people that are involved in it. You know what I mean? They look a certain way. They look like underground. You know what I mean? Like
it still has that underground vibe. You know, I can't tell you how many times general public will ask me, "Hey, have you seen the video of that guy?" The janitor who outlifts the other guy. Who's the janitor who like deadlifts a lot of weight and like he looks like he's
Vitaly or some shit, whatever his name is.
Yeah. So it's like I think that's what gets a lot of views nowadays. It's like everybody likes a good underdog story, you know? That's really what it is.
Okay, maybe.
A good underdog story. So you see Schoolboy, or you see somebody who's like
Schoolboy, yeah.
These arm wrestlers who don't look like
people that are like unexpectedly strong, sleek build. I think that's the word for it.
Yeah, because it gives hope to people. Because people like they're watching that on their lunch break and they're like, man, like
you know what I'm saying? Lunch break.
But it's true, man.
No, I hear you.
I'm just dissecting the psychology behind it, you know, and like everybody likes a good story. Everybody's rooting for the underdog, man. Is anybody really watching Half Tour against Devin thinking, man, I hope Half Tour wins? Like, come on. I hope the guy who's 450.
Because people, it's almost like even in professional sports, it's like when a team that isn't supposed to win wins, it's like you just saw something that wasn't like supposed to happen. You know what I mean? Like you saw something rare. So it's like you saw a cool moment. You're right on that. Because also it's like this guy's so much bigger than him. He's supposed to win. Why would I want to watch that?
Yeah, and even if you look at channels like us, like we have more of like underdog channels that's sub 20K. You know, it's not like massive. It's good channels, but it's not huge. Yeah. And the cool thing about being an underdog is people. It's not that they don't expect much from you, but like they don't really. I don't know how to explain it. Like I think it's nice to be unpredictable. You know.
Yeah, I agree with that.
there's some benefits to it, you know?
Okay, I'm this video I'm gonna show you, and I know if you don't know who the Island Boys are, you definitely, well, you might know. I'm gonna show you this video, and I don't want like your reaction from it. I want you to tell me like what's happening here.
Is this fitness? Is this a fit or something
No,
else?
it's more just a stupid funny video.
It's something
You-
else. Okay.
You tell me what's happening here, like in what context this video is occurring in.
Let me bang, man.
I want to do that, man.
Let me
I do. I do.
Let me bang,
I
man.
do let you bang. Hey,
Let me bang again,
I
man.
let you bang. I let you bang.
Let me bang. Let me bang. Let me bang. Yeah, let me bang, bro. Like last season. Let me bang, bro. Off me, man. Get off me, man. Let me bang. I'll let you bang.
Okay, what do you think that is?
Lunch break drama content, man. Telling you, man. That's what it is.
No,
No,
it's
No,
like
that's the supper break. That's the supper break.
yeah, when you have more time at home.
Yeah, they'll give you 30 minutes for that.
So like what I kind of gave it away on the screen, but I didn't realize that. What like obviously but you could tell by looking at it, like it's a reality show. But what do you think it was about? I don't know if you saw it was written on
It
the
looked to me like the guy who said I want to bang. It's like almost like he wanted permission from the guy to fight, and like the guy wasn't. Maybe that was like his coach or something saying like I want to let you bang, but then it kind of sounded like maybe they're partners or something.
No,
or,
no,
like, it's
you're pretty without knowing any context, you're pretty much as close as you can be. So I don't know if they still do it now, but back in the mid 2000s, 2010s, the UFC hosted like this reality show for like up and coming fighters to get into the UFC. So it was like a reality show and a tournament at the same time. But it's definitely one of the most like viral moments of the whole show, as you can see why. Like he's saying, let me bang, people make fun of it. But to me, the funniest part is when that guy's like, I do let you bang. And everyone saw that the other day. And I'm like, I need to get some people to react to this who I don't think they will know what it is. But
because also like I mentioned, where like a lot of people work regular jobs, so it's like I think that's why people like the drama stuff so much. It's because your average person probably works their 9 to 5, maybe like at a
nothing super
desk.
exciting happens.
They're not moving or much, and they come back home. It's like, wait, what's for dinner? What am I gonna cook for dinner? Am I gonna go to the gym? Most people will probably skip the gym. And just lie down in bed, maybe play like a video game or something. Or
Yeah,
maybe
for
they'll watch maybe they'll watch some TikToks or some IG reels. You know,
No, for sure.
it's crazy. We live in a lazy society, man. Like a lot of
Yeah.
people, like gyms are not as packed as they used to be, too, man.
It's like, okay, yes, lazy. I'm not going to say you're wrong on that, but also it's like things that can entertain you and keep you lazy are so easily accessible.
That's why the computer I'm on the laptop I'm using right now, I have a ton of site blockers, man. Ton.
Gotcha.
Block Amazon, I block eBay. I block
Why do you
YouTube
block
sometimes, too.
Amazon?
It's like, man,
Do you have a spending problem or something?
not spending problem, man, but it's like with online shopping, sometimes I'm just like,
Oh,
I'll
you're just
be
looking to
scrolling
look.
through it. Yeah, I'm just
Gotcha.
looking. I'm like, okay, let me buy this this gym product, or let me just
Okay.
it's easy to get carried away. So even YouTube, man, which is a great platform, even then I know my limits too. Even IG on my phone, like I put like a 30-minute
Yeah, I have
it notifies me after 30 minutes.
I have a 90 minute blocker on this. YouTube, Instagram,
Yeah, it's
after
important because
my
or
phone
else
just locks me out.
that's the whole point of these apps, is to keep you carried away,
Yeah.
to keep you engaged.
Well, see, that's why I didn't like TikTok.
And also I do,
Go ahead.
pardon me?
No, go ahead.
No, I was saying that's why I like I think it's important to do cleanups too on my page. Like every month I'll unfollow some people. I'm like I don't engage in any of their content. I don't really care about their content. If it's like loyal subscribers, like loyal supporters, and like for sure I'll keep them. But I'm saying like sometimes you look at pages you've been following from like a couple years ago, I'm like this no longer serves me,
Yeah, no, for sure. They were
like taking out the trash.
But that's why I don't like TikTok. And Joe Rogan talked about this on an episode I saw. As soon as you open up the app, there's no homepage. It doesn't take you to your profile. Boom, it's already showing you a video that's in your algorithm. And then that catches your eye and it's like, oh, I like this. And you scroll to the next one and the next one. So like it captures you right away.
Yeah, I remember Dan Green, I'm pretty sure it was him. Don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure back in the day, I think I saw he was following one person on IG. It was for sure one of the Animal Pack like powerlifters.
Okay. But you know what I
And
don't like about
like-
that now? Like I subscribe to things or follow things on Instagram because that's all I want to see. Don't show me other shit. Like that's what I don't know when that changed, but it wasn't always like that. It used to only show you
Right.
people you followed.
But you see, that's the thing with Instagram is that it's a business, you know? So like they're trying to keep you more hooked. And also they have a pay to play approach where it's like,
Yeah.
okay, if you really want to be seen more, it's like Kijiji. It's like you want to sell your car, you want it to be at the top of the page. You just pay a bit of extra money, and you know they're gonna put it higher up. So it's kind of like that with content. I think in the future, man, I think it might even get worse. Imagine, because now everyone's fighting for screen time, you know?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if down the line, man, there's going to be so many ads. And then the ads that, if you do want to be on the ads, you got to pay even more than the next person. Like, it's probably going to get really out of hand, you know? Probably have to scroll like 10 seconds just to see like a person you actually know.
Fuck, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
All
But
right.
it's all good, man. Me, I like to focus on what things that I have control over, you know?
So actually, I want you to build
And
up
if I
on
don't,
that.
man, I'm going to create down.
When I have a guest and we sign up, I just say, first of all, plug your stuff, everything you have. Second of all, just give like a final, like maybe 2-3 minute, maybe it's like your mission statement, a message you think people should hear, but most importantly, plug your stuff.
Okay, so for contacts on IG, pg.coaching, on YouTube, pg.coaching, those like the big platforms you could find me on. And I'm active on them. As far as my big message is concerned, man, I have so much to say, but like in a nutshell, like just try to actually enjoy what you're doing, you know? A lot of people are doing the right things for the wrong reasons, you know? They're in the gym, but it's just like the way they're approaching it is a little bit backwards, you know? Like fitness is not a trend. Fitness is a lifestyle, you know? And you come into this world with one body, man. And, like, don't treat it like a trash can, you know? And this is what you're going to carry from like from the day you're born to the day you die. So, you know, take care of your body. Don't treat it like a trash can. You don't have to work out. You get to work out. It's a privilege to work out. And it's crazy how you have so many people complaining online about training, or how I have to. It's like, man, you got 2 arms and 2 legs, man. And like they're working very well. Like I've had issues with my body in the past where I was in positions where I couldn't, like I had an ACL surgery, you know, stuff like that. And like where I still got the job done, but I'm saying like there were certain points in time where I had a lot of restrictions in my body, you know, and I wasn't able to move the way I wanted to. And then you have other people who they can move how they want, and they're still complaining, and they're still looking for shortcuts, and they're still, you know, trying to get on TRT at like 15, 16 years old. And like, you know, just enjoy the process, just have fun with it, you know, enjoy and appreciate that it's really a luxury, you know, to be able to go to a gym and move your body. That's all I got, man.
No, that's good. That's well said.
Yeah,
All right, everyone.
if you guys are looking for some content on my channel that's like more on the educational side, and you really want to have a good takeaways when you watch my videos, subscribe to it.
Yeah. I
Very
just
similar to Strength
Phil's,
Classroom.
I just watched Phil's tricep video about 3, 4, maybe 5 days ago. It was actually a really, really well done video. I left you a comment, and I thought it was funny that you messaged me and you're like, "Yo, did you really like my tricep video?" I'm like, "Yeah, it was one of your better videos you've made." And you have I guess like it's like a no nonsense style, but it doesn't come across as like a try hard. You know what I mean? Like you're not like a super angry guy, or you're just talking. You're just a guy talking about a certain subject. That's all it comes down to.
Yeah.
So I feel like it'll be relatable for most people.
Yeah, I just want people they watch the video and they say, you know what, I got some takeaways, and not something I could apply in a year. I'm gonna try this out today in the gym, you know, or I'm gonna try this meal out today, and like just
It's
stuff
like
that I'm
easily
we're not-
digestible information.
yeah, like I'm not running a popularity contest or like this gossip club, you know, like I'm trying to like level up, especially it's like a sausage fest. It's like 99% men, but like
Me too.
you know,
It's like
on my
98%
YouTube.
men, 2% women.
Yeah, but all the women who do watch, the very, very few, like you know, a lot of it applies to them too. But like as far as my guys are concerned, I'm trying to like level up men, you know, and just really make them learn from, I won't even say my mistakes, but I learned from a lot of my experiences, you know, and understand that the results that I got, there is a quicker way without chasing shortcuts, but you could get the results somewhat faster, you know. But I do encourage people to, and I know you probably get this too, where people say, hey Peter, like what's a better lift? Like try both, man. Seriously.
Yeah.
Try both. See for yourself, man. People don't want to have skin in the game anymore. People don't want to like experiment. People just want the yes or no's.
Yeah. Because also what people
Try
don't
the cheat road.
understand is if you, let's say exercise A, exercise B. If I tell you it's B, but what if you tried both and then for you it actually ended up being A? You know what I mean? Just because we're different people. We can respond to 2 things differently. So like you said,
you're going to be in the gym anyways, man. You're gonna be in the gym anyways, man. Take an extra 5-10 minutes out when your session's done and just try it out, man. Or just try doing a working set with it. Like if you're doing 3 sets of barbell rows, okay, let me just try. I'll do one very strict. I'll do one with body English, and I'll try one just for fun of it, just for shits and giggles. I'm trying with like a shitty form, like cheat. Yeah. Just try. Just put your body in different positions. And just, okay, you know what? And but like I will say, and I got this from my man Angus Bradley, the Australian coach. The medium is the message. Oftentimes, you will find yourself in that middle ground, and that's with a lot of stuff in a lot of fitness could be resolved by just saying the medium is the message, man. Because it always is them. It's rarely ever one extreme. You know, the tempo is rarely ever 10 seconds down or just 1 second down. It's usually somewhere in the middle. You know, it's like a 3-4 down. And there's always gonna be diminishing returns when you try to take something to the extreme.
I'd agree with that for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
That's
Well, for those of you that made it to the end, this is definitely one of my longer ones. Thank you for watching. All of Phil's stuff will be in the description. You can check this out on Spotify, check this out on YouTube. They'll be pasted on both, just like as they always are. But that's it for everyone. So that's it for today, everyone. And as always, class is dismissed. Take care, Phil.
Appreciate you, my man.